This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Hey, life's a risk, carnal.
Tell me something, my friend. You ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I do a great impression of a hot dog.
Billy likes to drink soda.
So am I to understand that you men completed your training on your own?
That's the fact, Jack!
Come on, seriously, who is that?
I only came here to do two things, man. Kick some ass and drink some beer. Looks like we're almost out of beer.
What's going on, everybody? This is Lucky the Dork Dad. And with me, as always, on this show, Mr. Joe Martinez. What's up?
What's up, Lucky? It's good to be in person today.
Yes, we're in the Dork Dad studio, if you will.
Yes.
I finally cleared out some of my junk so I can have Joe over.
Oh, no, it's not junk, man. It's all... it's Batman. It's Batman-centric.
All right.
Bat Central.
So this is... Now watch this. So, yeah, that's what the show's called.
So tell me, Lucky, I understand you went and watched something this week.
Did I? Oh, you're talking about, when I went to the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually went out in person.
I did. Went to go see an anime my boys wanted to see. I'm not going to butcher the name, but it's the Demon Slayer movie, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you ever watched that anime. No,
is it something? Was it a special viewing, or is it in theaters right now, or what's going on with that?
It was released in Japan earlier this year. It's been the number one movie for a while, but it just got the U.S. release. So there are two different versions. There's the dubbed version, and then you got the one with the subtitles, which all the hardcore fans prefer, which that's the one we ended up watching. It's not so bad when you're reading on the big screen compared to the TV. So it wasn't bad. I really enjoyed it.
What was the crowd like out there?
They did mention when we got the tickets that they were limiting the seats. I guess just to still keep social distance.
A little bit of distance, yeah.
But I would say even with that, it's probably more than halfway full. So it wasn't bad.
Man. That's cool. Little by little, man, we're gonna start getting back out there, and it's gonna start picking back up.
Yes, sir.
So, I think I had told you I went out to Smithson Valley last week, and it was a full crowd, and they weren't requesting to be masked up and everything like that.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I'm vaccinated, I stayed masked up, man.
Well, that's Trump country, anyways.
It was very much so.
That's all right. It is what it is. I mean, we're almost back to normal. We get more people vaccinated, and
Yeah, because I was just down the street last Monday, and of course it was good to see everybody was taking proper precautions again.
Yep. That was here at Clemens, right? Playing my son's team, my son's school.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Speaking about games, what are we getting into today, man?
Well, we're going to talk video game movies. And, of course, the hot topic that's out right now is the Mortal Kombat movie, which is getting some good reviews, some mixed reviews, some bad reviews. So I think we're going to hit all of that up today, talking about video game movies and, some of the hits and misses, more misses than hits, I think.
I think that's a hard thing to do. When you're taking a video game and trying to make a movie out of it, I think a lot of them have good intentions, but it just doesn't translate well, onto the big screen. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Well,
we can get into I don't know if you have any favorites, but there's a list of them that are out, and the ones that I'm gonna bring to the table are some of the ones that either I liked and didn't really understand, some of the bad stuff that happened to it, and don't know how, like, some of these movies as a video game, they played out so badass, and the story in the video game played out so well, and it was done so well, and I was like, I can't wait to see the movie. And then the movie comes out, and oh my God, it's complete shit.
Yep. Well, let's start by talking about some of the good ones or your favorites.
Well, I don't know how to hit this one up, but some of the more well-received ones, right? Like the original Resident Evil came out, and I remember it being well-received, and I mean, it spawned a bunch of sequels, so it had to have made some money, but I always liked Mila Jovovich, or I don't want to...
It's Multipass from...
yes.
From
and that was the thing, Larry. And then, so I looked into that movie, and the director of that movie was the same person that directed the original Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Yeah. So same director, and you could see some of that, and he went on to do multiple Resident Evil movies. So there was some success there.
Maybe that was his thing. He liked the games to a movie thing.
Well, and then when we talk about video game movies, there's another director that comes up, and his name is Yue Bo or something like that. And he made the first Blood Rain movie. And then he just went on to make all these video game movies that were maybe direct to video or something, but they are horrible. And I think he made them to be horrible because, oh my God.
I mean, that's his thing. He just,
like
I said, he just wanted to do them.
and it was fun. You got the classic movie, the first video game movie that everybody hated was Super Mario.
When that movie first came out, I think everybody was so excited. They're like, we're gonna see Mario, we're gonna see the Koopas, we're gonna see all this stuff, and what we got was just something just crazy. It's like, that's my thing with these movies. It's like, I know you have to try to make it into a movie, but don't change the story. I mean, that's what's gonna turn people off.
Yeah, because a lot of these video games, they have a story to them.
And I know it's hard to try to make things make sense. I know video game worlds, they're not real. But when you try to make it real in a way, I guess, I don't know, it just makes it so bad. But, it's almost like a cult classic now. It's like, John Leguizamo, I mean...
Because it's a great cast. Bob Hoskins is in it. Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper, yes.
I mean,
as King Koopa. Come on.
It doesn't, at the time, man, and I think he was just coming off of Speed, so he was hot at the time. Bob Hoskins had the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yep. He was coming off of, and John Leguizamo up and coming. So, oh my God, it should have been so good, and it was everyone's favorite video game. Even my mom likes playing Mario Brothers, bro. So
yeah.
I mean, everyone knew it, and oh my God, it came out and just womp womp womp.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. It's hard to make that game into a movie, I guess. But I mean, when you do that to the Koopas, it's like, just give us some puppets. I know the technology wasn't up to par at that time, but give us some,
Hell, you remember they
Muppets,
had
Muppets were still good.
They had the dinosaur show, we could have did that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Even as bad as it was, it still kind of holds a place in my heart, as a fond memory, I guess.
It is one of those that you can watch and like for how bad it was or how bad it is.
That's kind of like me and Batman. Is it Batman Forever?
Don't
Not
say
Batman Forever. Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin.
Okay.
With Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. That's one of the worst Batman movies ever, but I like it because of how over the top it is.
Oh, I can tell looking at your staring right at Mr. Freeze over here.
Yeah.
Ice to meet you.
Just chill.
Yeah, and it was so bad. It's good again. So I like movies like that. And another movie on our list here is Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen that movie all the way through. I've just seen bits and pieces.
Well, that was another video game movie that came out, and it had Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was made kickboxer and
Raul Julia.
Bloodsport. Raul Julia. It's supposed to be a good cast, and it comes out and it's
Wonk, wonk.
it's freaking horrible. There's no story to it. Jean-Claude, with his accent and everything, plays M. Gallo, the leader of the American Army.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, and there's a showdown at the end. Now I understand. I think maybe they had more planned with Raul Julia, but he was sick at the time.
Yeah,
That was right before he passed. So there wasn't that much that they could do. But they had some classic people in there. They had our boy Miklo. Miklo was in there.
Oh yeah, he was. Or no, he was. Was he?
Yeah, he was. Ken. He was Ken.
He was Ken.
Yeah,
I thought he was one of the ones in Double Dragon. That's another one.
No, he might have been in Double Dragon as well. But no, that was somebody else. That was Scott Foley, I think. But Miklo was in there. Miklo was there. I can't remember the dude's name, but he came out in the program that we talked about the other day. The defense tackle in the program.
Latimer.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy actor's name.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Damian Chapa, who's Miklo. I just refer to him as Miklo and everything that he's done. So, but again, it's a decent cast for the time that it was made, and it just wasn't made very well. Now it's hard. How do you do that? Like, it's even with this Mortal Kombat movie we're going to get into. How do you do that? How do you have a movie where there's a tournament and then you get to the end? But I mean, we've seen it done. The Karate Kid did it. Yeah.
Once we get into it, I'll tell you what I think, what they maybe should have happened or should have done. But, we can always talk these woulda, shoulda, couldas. But,
yeah.
We got what we got.
But I would say something that, as we get into this Mortal Kombat movie, it's making money.
It is.
They're gonna make another one. That's what happens nowadays. No matter what it is, it makes money. They're gonna make another one.
And I think, it's making money in the theaters as well, and that's what I mean. I think people are so eager to get back to normal that they're going out to the theaters. They miss it. Everybody misses it.
And if I'm a studio out there, I'm thinking I'm on a strike right now. There's not a lot of competition out there. As you said, they got the theaters back open. Even they're at a limited percent. You can kind of justify some of the numbers that you do, even if you release it streaming like they did this movie. But I'd go out there. There's not a lot out there that's opposing you right now.
Just anime.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I wanted to get into, I don't know, how big a video game player are you? Or what are some of your favorite video games right now? Or before?
I wish I had more time to play. I'm not hip on all these shoot 'em up games like the Fortnites and the Call of Duties. I've tried to get into those kind of games. I'm not that good. That's why I don't play them. I'm more of like, I like games like where you have to follow a storyline. Nothing first person, something where you actually see the character.
Yeah.
Role-playing games, if you will. More like, your Zeldas, your Tomb Raider, those type of games.
No, I think I'm the same
Assassin's
way,
Creed, which we can get into. I love that series. I missed out on some of these later ones, but I really enjoy Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that one too. Man, that movie came out with Fassbender, and Fassbender, man, he's a good actor. I loved him in the X-Men series. He was always, even if the movies were bad like the last one was, he was always a bright spot in those movies that did well. So
yeah, I had high hopes for that too. I don't know who's familiar with the storyline in the games, but I was like, just follow that storyline.
Yeah.
I think the character's name's Desmond. Follow that guy where, they have to change it up.
Yeah. And, that's the thing I like too, is like the Lara Croft video game. I liked back in the day, not just because I was a teenage boy following her.
Angelina Jolie.
Yes. I like that. The game-wise of it, for me, it was almost like I was playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the game played out, right? And they made the movie with Angelina Jolie, and I understand they got to do different things with it, but the movie could have been just another, like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Made with Angelina Jolie, who's one of the best actresses out there. And, I didn't think it was that good. Now, it made money. Mm-hmm. So they came back. They did the sequel. I didn't get the chance to see the remake yet. So I'll definitely put that one on my list. But I know that one was getting pretty good reviews as well.
Yeah, I think that one's easy to follow. Like you said, it's basically Indiana Jones as a woman. It's national treasure.
Yeah.
Nick Cage. Just go and find artifacts and whatnot. So that one should be easy.
National Treasure is a badass movie, though.
Yeah.
I like both of those.
Nick Cage. We can do a Nick Cage special.
Hell yeah. But then we'd have to
Talk
start
about
off.
some of the bad ones.
No, but we'd have to start off with what's the movie he did with the in the 80s, early 80s?
Nick Cage?
Yeah.
One thing I remember, he was in Peggy Sue Got Married.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, even Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona.
Which is a badass freaking movie. I can't believe, I watched that one as a kid and got it and still love it to this day. But, oh man, it's going to kill me if I don't get Valley Girl.
Valley Girl.
Yeah. Remember him in that one. Well, I'll tell you, I'm like you. I'm not into like the Fortnite games. Call of Duty, I'll play the campaign or the franchise or whatever it's called. But I can't play online because
I can't get killed by a Noob Master 69 or whatever it was.
Bro, it's like, oh my God. And it's some little kid telling you to kiss his ass or worse after he killed you. And it's like, you little motherfucker. I can't stand it. But, the role-playing games, the games where you have a story mode, even like now the Grand Theft Auto is all about online stuff. But back in the day, it was a story that you did.
Yeah, I can get into those.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you can make a movie from that.
Because were you telling me about Red Dead Redemption?
Yes. You played that one?
I played a little bit of it. I like those open world games where you can just go do whatever. You can do side missions. You can follow the regular story or whatever.
And that Red Dead Redemption 2, besides doing the podcast stuff now, that took up majority of my time or my free time. It's like, because, the wife's in the background, watching her shows or watching her stuff on her phone. I can be there playing Red Dead Redemption, and you don't even have to do with stuff. What's your attraction? Is it like doing all the side missions or just like the open world, like I said? I like doing all the side missions. Like, man, dude, I like hanging out. Sometimes I just go hunting the whole day and do stuff like that. Like
an escape. Trying
to get, 100% completion on the game and doing that kind of stuff and robbing the banks or robbing the train, stuff like that. Red Dead Redemption 2, or even, they just started with part 1. If they did a movie on that, I think that would be a fucking badass movie.
You ever get into computer games like Warcraft?
Well, one of the ones I wanted to talk about was Doom. One of the original computer games. And that one was a badass game. And then so they're like, oh, well, Dwayne Johnson's going to do Doom, and it's going to be badass. And oh my God, it was complete shit.
Yeah, glad I didn't see it. Maybe because I never really got into Doom. So again, that's kind of first person, right? You're just going around corners, and kind of reminds me of the old 007. Remember 007?
GoldenEye. Yeah. Dude, me and my friends would take weekends and playing that stuff. We'd have like football practice in the morning, go back to my friends after, and we're just playing GoldenEye the whole day.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Doom, those... Said it's a crazy movie. I mentioned Warcraft. They made that into a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with the computer game.
Did you like the movie?
I didn't see the movie.
No, I haven't either. That's the thing. I wasn't into the game. Like I have a friend that invites me to do Magic the Gathering, and I'm not there yet. Like I don't know if I can get into that.
I mean, that's I don't want to offend nobody, but it's like I'm a nerd, but I'm not a fucking nerd, you know.
That's exactly.
But yeah, but I'm sure if I actually knew how those games work, I'd probably be into it.
Well, there was another.
So I'm just talking shit.
There was a game like you remember when we were kids, we played Nintendo and everyone played the damn Jason game. You remember that? Oh. They had a Friday the 13th game and they tried to do horror games. Like they have a Castlevania was a badass game back in the day.
Yeah.
That they've done like an animation type of show with it.
On Netflix, yeah.
Yeah. But they could probably make a movie from that. You know, that one was a good one. But there was this game called Max Payne that I used to play as a kid, and it was on the original PlayStation. They made that one into a movie with Mark Wahlberg and Mila Kunis in it. It's supposed to be good, and it was horrible.
Yeah, that's another one I haven't seen.
Yeah, you're not missing anything, man. And then they did that too a lot, like the first Silent Hill game. Silent Hill was a game that was a spooky game. It was pretty scary. They made a movie from it, and it just really didn't make any sense. But
so like you got like the nurses are like their faces all messed up. Yeah. And the big triangle head guy, right?
Yeah, there's fucked up shit in there, man. Like there's like even when you're playing the game, there's jump scares in it, and it's pretty good. Like even the Max Payne game, when you're playing the game, there's a scene, and you know. Most of us we're playing, right? We're trying to be all quiet because the wife and kids are asleep and we don't want to wake them up while we're playing. And, you know, we get into it and it's all dark and shit. And then you just hear like a baby crying in the background. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, what the hell is this? You know, shit that, you know, we were alone in the dark at our house and we heard a baby crying when there's no baby around and we'd be fucking pretty freaked out.
You know, you already mentioned Resident Evil, but that game, the original one on the original first PlayStation, that one scared me, you know. I don't know if you remember just walking down the hallway and you get like these zombie Doberman just start coming at you. It's like, whoa.
And there's only like one way you can look and you have that one field of vision and then, you know, that shit jumps out at you.
The original was, I ain't gonna lie, was harder to play than the ones now, but it's, that one was for me. I really like that game. So
you're playing the Red Dead Redemption now?
No. My son has it. My son has an Xbox. He's got it up there. But we got a PS4. That's what I usually play.
I think my younger son has it on PS4. I'll bring it to you next time I come by. But that game has a jump scare in it. That's pretty good. Did you ever get into the Batman games?
A little bit. I think I played one or two of the Arkham. I don't know if it was Arkham City. But yeah, I haven't played all of them. But yeah. I really like those games too. Yeah,
the Batman games, dude, like they keep looking for stories to do with the Batman movies. You can follow the damn story in the Batman games, and that shit's good enough. Like, you ever watch it? They have it on YouTube where like someone just pieced together all the cutscenes and everything like that, and it's more than 2 hours sometimes. It's a story in itself, and it's done very well. Paul Dini did the Batman games, so. Those play very well, and the last one that came out, there's some jump scenes in there that fuck you up.
Nice. Now let me ask you this, because my kids went through this phase. I don't know if yours did too, but you get things like Twitch and even YouTube. You have these videos where there's people playing video games and like kind of just talking as they're playing, and kids love this shit. Like they're watching them play a game. It's like, I just tell my son, I said, "You have this game. Why don't you just play it?" "Oh no, I like to watch them."
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Well, okay. Like I have two boys, right? And my older one, he's the one that plays sports. My younger one plays sports too, but he's really into gaming. And for a while, he had his own YouTube channel.
All right.
This dude made a video called something about a goat game. He had 33,000 views on it.
What the
hell? I swear to you. And I was like, what?
The goat simulator?
Yes. It was, he made a how to do something video, and he got like 30, and this is, dude, he's 13 now. This was when he was 9, maybe.
Wow.
And you know, dumbass lost he forgot the password to the account or something, so he made a new one. But it's still on there, his damn video, and has like a little bit more now. But it had like 33,000 views. I couldn't believe it, man. And you know, that's what they do all day.
Man, it's so crazy. It's like you don't know what people are gonna get off on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy. And I've seen that game. I mean, you're literally just a goat walking around.
Yeah. Yes, it's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing. But yeah, I'll show you a little bit later. I'll pull it up. But yeah, his goat simulator game. I'm like, oh my, I can't believe that. And you know, meanwhile, I thought, you know, we did a badass episode last week, and I don't know how many views that we've gotten so far. So people share our stuff, go out there and watch.
Yeah,
and listen.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's so crazy. I just don't understand the concept of watching other people play video games.
Yes.
When you have the game yourself.
Yes. Like, you have it. You can go play this game.
And then I guess there's people that don't even want to play the games. They just want to see the story. Like you said, they put all the cutscenes together and make a little movie. So
yeah. And but you know, like the campaign mode in the games is what I usually go for. Like, I don't play online too much. If I do, it's a sports game. So, you know, that one you can do. But yeah, the campaign mode is usually what I'm there for.
Yeah, I couldn't handle getting beat by a 12-year-old. So,
dude, because they talk so much shit afterwards.
Because you can.
Yeah.
There's no repercussion. You can talk crap and
no, I'm telling you, dude, I'm gonna be like Jay and Silent Bob and go find people.
No, I mess around on TikTok, and I saw a video. It was a mom telling her son, "Hey, you want to meet my new boyfriend?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then the boyfriend, you know, walks into the room. It's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I forget the name. He said some name, and the kid's like, "I haven't gone by that name in a long time." And the guy's like, "I know. Don't you remember? You were talking crap to me on this game, and I told you I was going to come to your house and bang your mom." He's like, "Well, here I am."
Look at 80,000 views, bro.
Cool. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, it's on how to do the mission graffiti on Goat Simulator. He's got 80,000
If he would have kept that up, he could be making some cash right now.
I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't have to buy him all this shit. He can buy his own PS bucks.
All right, let's see. What are some of the other ones? What do I got on my list? Maybe some of the more recent ones. Did you catch Sonic the Hedgehog?
I did not. I did not get to see that one. I saw all the backlash to it, though, when the original came out, and the eyes were different.
Yeah, the original design, you know, people were freaking out. Like, again, why are you going to change something?
Mm-hmm.
Why make him look different? So that was one thing where the fans actually got to the people making the movie, and they changed it up to make him look like Sonic from the game, and turned out to be good. It was a pretty decent movie. I enjoyed it. You know, you got Jim Carrey as a villain, and it was good, you know, for what it was.
And you know what? The guy that's in that movie, is the dude from Cyclops, or the Cyclops.
Yeah.
I enjoy everything that he does. Like he makes some good. He's in a lot of good movies. You know, I liked all the X-Men movies. I know people shit on The Last Stand or whatever, but I really like that movie. You know, he was in Superman Returns, and even though he was, you know, getting kind of punked by Superman for Lois, you know, I kind of like that movie too. You know, I know there's a lot of people that do not like that movie at all. But, you know, I didn't mind it so much. I was happy to see Superman back. Yeah,
that guy's good. And we'll bring that guy up again once we finish Mortal Kombat. There's a thing going on with him. What are some other ones? I don't know. People said this was a video game, Detective Pikachu. Did you catch that?
I did not catch that one, but yeah, the Pikachu games, or what is that thing
Pokemon
called?
Go?
Yeah, the Pokemon. I want to say there's more than a few movies of that, but I mean the Pikachu was a live action, so It was the first for that one, but I did not catch that one.
Yeah, my boys are into Pokemon, so we went to go see that, and that's another one. I mean, people kind of shit on it a little bit, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
It's got
it
Ryan
was just kind of
Reynolds,
cool.
right?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. So I mean, it was kind of cool to see live action, if you will, Pokemon. So yeah, I enjoyed that one, man. That one wasn't too bad for me. Another one, I guess you could say, from animation is Angry Birds. Did you ever see that?
Yeah. I saw that one, and of course, I got a 7-year-old daughter, so we're right there for it. She liked that one. I never played the game much, so I didn't mind it.
That one, they really had to think about
how
to
you
make a movie on,
yeah.
because the game is just literally simple. You just throw in birds, but and that one was unique in its own because that was from a mobile game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. But I didn't mind those too much. It was actually pretty good. What else?
I haven't seen too much of the newer stuff. But I mean, there's a lot out there that I made. Like I said, that guy Yue Bowl that I talked about, he made that Blood Rain one, and then he just went on to make a whole list of other games that were like the handheld games, and they just made a movie out of that. Like some of those Kingdom games where you have to build your own city and stuff like that, and they made movies off of those. So it's just kind of like how do you do that? But I don't know. But they did, and there's movies out there, and there has to be fans for it.
How about I guess it's not necessarily a video game movie per se, but did you ever catch Pixels with
I like that movie.
With Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way they went into it, and it's even the Wreck-It Ralph movie. Where they used a lot of video game characters and had some of them come to life, and that stuff's fun to see, man. Like I like stuff like that. Going into Ready Player One, where they use a lot of different stuff, like a lot of video game characters in that movie as well, that they use for the game and stuff like that. I like that. I like when you're joining worlds and stuff.
Did you like that movie, Ready Player One?
Yeah,
I mean, I liked it, but actually before the movie came out, my son actually read the book, and I know people say it all the time, but the book is way better than the movie.
Yeah, the book and a lot of it is that the book gets to go places that you can't in the movies. Like there's licensing issues and stuff like that ended up being cut out. Of course, in the movie you get to see it's like go climbing with Batman, and Batman comes out and it's badass.
Yeah.
Mark out for that.
It's a great book. What was I gonna bring up? About another old school game, Rampage, man.
Yeah.
Did you
And
see
I
that
can't
one
believe
with,
they made a movie from that one. I mean, again, Dwayne Johnson just comes out and he puts his stamp on it.
I swear, The Rock, before this whole COVID thing, he was doing like 3-4 movies a year. It's like ridiculous. Like he was in everything.
Yes, and he was in everything, and everything was making money, man. Like San Andreas is a horrible movie, but he's in it and he makes it better, man.
Like Skyscraper, and there's like just all these random movies. It kind of felt like the 80s again,
like the 80s, and he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, they're just in everything.
It's gonna become a cycle. Now, what he needs is someone that can play opposite from him. Like they did the Hobbs and Shaw, and Jason Statham's good, but I didn't get too much of that. Like I'm gonna admit here, and people are probably gonna give me shit for it, but I haven't seen all the Fast and Furious movies. I've never seen those movies.
I haven't seen like the last 2 or 3.
Yeah, and so I haven't seen the one The Rock's in, and I haven't seen, like I heard like, him and Vin Diesel go head up on it, and there was a bunch of issues with that, and that's why The Rock got his own franchise. And then they were talking shit to each other, like on Instagram or Twitter or something. And while I followed some of that, like the movies themselves, like Vin Diesel does not do it for me. I'm sorry, people, and people are going to be very upset with this, but Paul Walker didn't do it for me. Ooh. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean,
still see him as the jerk from Varsity Blues.
Yeah, but he was good in Varsity Blues. So,
yeah.
but people always post that thing where boys cried or when men cried, and they put that Paul Walker and Vin Diesel scene. It's like, come on, man. I've seen people with stickers on their car that have that scene or something like that. I'm like, people are really into it.
I mean, it's just a shame. Even the way he went out, he thought he was still in the movie.
Yeah,
he crashed his car.
I did like him for the first 15 minutes of the Into the Blue movie, and that's the first 15 minutes where Jessica was in her bikini, and then you don't watch the rest of the movie because the rest of the movie is shit. But you can watch that first 15 minutes over and over, especially when you were a teenager in the late 90s.
Jessica Alba, she was one of my crushes.
Yeah. And speaking of, we're gonna get into this Mortal Kombat movie, but the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Yep.
Did you like that one? Did you play Mortal Kombat back in the day? Were you a fighting game?
I was back there. Diversions, remember Diversions game room?
Right? Yeah.
I was up there putting my quarters up on the screen. I got next.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was cool.
Because that was the hot thing for a while in video games and
fighting games.
And the arcades was the fighting games. It was Street Fighter. I remember it was the first one.
I remember Primal Rage.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs.
You remember Pit Fighter?
Pit Fighter.
Yeah.
Virtual Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like that one.
And Street Fighter 2 was, I thought was even better than Street Fighter, but it's like Street Fighter 1, you could only be Ken or Ryu, and you go through the things, which I always liked those kind of games. Like I liked playing Mortal Kombat against people, but I liked when you could play and then you go from, you gotta go through the whole game to get to Shang Tsung.
Climb that tower.
Yeah. I love stuff like that, man. I like games like that. I like that's why I like some of the wrestling games that are out now, because you kind of got to do that and you got to climb that ladder and go through different stuff. Again, I can't play online. Like even these fighting games online, you got dudes doing like one hit and you're done. It's like, God damn.
Yep. They just keep doing the leg sweep on you. It's like
that's why, like there's gonna be some shit about this movie, but they did that scene with the leg sweep, and for an old fan of the original game, that was pretty good for me.
Yeah, they tried to please the fans. Sometimes it just comes out cheesy though, but
whole lot of fan service.
Just before we get into it, just to touch on like other video game movies. A recent one, Monster Hunter. I haven't seen that.
No, but that's the
Fantasy.
same director from Resident Evil and from I think it's the same director doing Monster Hunter, and it's with Mila Jovovich again.
You got Final Fantasy. I know there's a lot of people who like that game.
I was never into the game, man. I couldn't get into it.
Prince of Persia. That's a game I played. The movie was okay.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, and again, he's always good in a lot of different stuff. More recently, the Spider-Man movies. But again, that's one of those ones that comes back now, and it's like Prince of Persia. Wasn't that guy like, Middle Eastern or something? It's played by like the whitest boy.
I think that's what people had issues with. Need for Speed. That was with homeboy from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And he
I don't know how you make that a movie. I didn't watch that either.
I don't, but it's basically a Fast and the Furious, right? Like
pretty much.
I mean, go there.
Hitman. I didn't see that. I haven't seen that or played that game.
I played the original game, and again, the movie comes out, and I like Timothy Olyphant, and he was coming off of that movie, The Crazies, which he was pretty badass in that movie, and he comes off. It's not a very good movie. He came out in a newer movie that I saw recently, or a show, was he on? The Mandalorian season 2.
Yes, sir. Which we'll do a Star Wars episode.
Oh yeah, dude, you gotta watch the. They did the new Christmas special, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's pretty good, man. Check it out.
I haven't caught that yet. I need to go on and watch. I don't know if you ever watched the Clone Wars, but before the Clone Wars we know now, they did like these little micro series with the Clone Wars. They just put those on Disney Plus. Yeah, I gotta go back and watch those. The animation's a little different.
Yeah, and that was the thing now. It's like that's what I'm liking about all the apps. You know, I know people complain about it, and it's more money that you're just spending and spending, but you know, they're finding ways to bundle it up and stuff. And for us, like for me, we've kind of completely cut off our cable except for, you know, having the internet, and we have, I guess, every app that you can find out there.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a while. Like we just have internet service. I talked about it a while back on my show. You know, if they're smart, these cable companies, they need to work with these streaming services and, you know, make a bundle.
Yeah. They're making them obsolete.
That way
now.
you can have one payment and you have access to all these apps.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they can give us a quote unquote cable box or whatever, and it'll just give us access to all these apps, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the way things are going to go.
Yeah, and like for people that like the news and stuff, like you can just get a good antenna out there that'll pick up the regular channels and use it for that. And then, you know, I app for everything else. You know, every show that comes out now, it comes straight to the app. So, you know, I'm mostly tied up in that.
Yep.
But it's just like they're releasing all this content to us, man. And, you know, Disney Plus, of course, you get it for the Disney movies, you get it for the Marvel movies, but all this extra stuff that they're putting on there, the National Geographic stuff. Recently got the Paramount Plus app, and, you know, because my daughter loves SpongeBob, so
got Nickelodeon on there?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, I think one thing that I think people find hard to let go of, at least us older generations, is, you know, that feeling you just come home, you turn on the TV, and
there's something on.
There's something on already, you know, flipping through channels. I think that's what I think people miss or have a hard time letting go. Because now, I mean, if you're strictly on Netflix and all these streaming services, you come home, you turn on the TV,
you gotta pick something out.
You find yourself scrolling through stuff for 30 minutes to an hour before you even decide on something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if they can just, I'm sure they can come up with something like that. Even the streaming services just have like a feed of just whatever, you know?
Well, no, I don't know if you've seen it. Like, you can go on Hulu now. Hulu has the live, where you can scroll through and there's live stuff on there. I watch the Pluto app sometimes. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but it has a lot of, it's free. It has a lot of stuff, but it has a live version as well where you can get that scrolling through the channels feed. Or, you know, as we got older, like right when we were younger, you're clicking through the damn each channel. Click, 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 click.
Oh, I remember. You go all the way to 99.
Yes, yes. And then mom's coming, move it. But yeah, man, you had to click through everything, and then, you know, we got a little bit more into a newer age where you can go to the TV Guide channel, and it would have everything scrolling on what's on and stuff like that. And then, you know, we got a little bit better, and they got a guide where you can you're watching your show in a little corner right here while you're scrolling through the guide and looking for something else on. But yeah, it was always Jerry Seinfeld had that joke. It's like, you're not really watching TV for what's on, you're watching for what else is on.
Maybe telling my age, but do you remember when music videos were a thing?
Yeah.
There used to be this channel where you can, like, I don't know if it was
the box.
You had to pay
the box,
and you can request a video to come on.
Yeah,
man,
bro. I used to be at like my cousin's house, and I think you can get that channel even if you didn't have like cable or something. It was the box, and you know, it wasn't MTV, it wasn't BET, or VH1, which were the only music channels back then. But you know, they had the box that would come up, and you know, what would come on was whatever people would pick. So, we never had the money to call in and request. So, we'd be like, what's someone else going to request? I hope they request this one. I hope they request this one. And you see the request come in and you're like, no, it's not.
I think what sticks out to me the most every time I went on there, it was either like Vanilla Ice or Red Hot Chili Peppers was on. It's like, it was always one of those two.
No. And then, that was when Metallica came out. And they would play One on there. And I remember that. Like, I mean, at the time, I had people, I have a lot of cousins, man. I'm come from a big Mexican family. So, my mom had 8 sisters, bro. So there's a lot of cousins out there. There's a lot of us motherfuckers out there. A lot of us Martinezes. I was blessed that I was able to kind of pull something from all of them, because I had, cousins that were into Tejano. I had cousins that were into metal, like, fucking hardcore shit. And then I had cousins that were into rap, and, I still remember being 8 years old and my cousin taking me, he was like, hey man, listen to this shit. And he put on Easy Does It for me, and oh my God. I was hooked from then on. Yeah.
I mean, I'm into pretty much everything.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you my age, and because I'm right there with you. But I had a cousin that took me to Image, which was on military. It was a club on military, right. And on Sundays or something, you could bring like your little brother, little sister, and they took me to there, and I saw my first club fight, which was pretty cool. And then we went to Whataburgers afterwards, and, of course, coming full circle, I played video games and a table.
Oh, yes.
You remember that?
Yeah. I remember, was it Pizza Hut used to have them?
Yeah.
The little table video games. It was either like Pac-Man or Galaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's how old we are. We sat down and played video games.
They need to bring those back.
I'm telling you. I still kick ass in Pac-Man, just saying.
All right, let's see. So Mortal Kombat, right? First thoughts of this new Mortal Kombat, the new one.
The new one. The first thoughts I had
was, what was your, were you excited for it, or like going into the movie?
I mean, going into the movie, I know a lot of people, I don't watch trailers, or I don't want to get spoiled by anything. I want to know everything that I can going into it, because it makes it more interesting for me. So going into it, I watched the trailer. I saw Scorpion or Sub-Zero, slice Scorpion up, catch his blood, and stab him with it. And that was it for me. Like, I'm sold. I'm gonna be there.
I was like, what? He just froze his blood and stabbed him with it.
I'm telling you, and that was, that was so badass for me. And it was like, when you played Mortal Kombat, who would you play as?
Either Liu Kang or Scorpion.
Bro, I was a Sub-Zero guy. I liked fucking freezing your ass there and then coming up and uppercutting you.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, man, Sub-Zero. I mean, Sub-Zero is a badass. And as we get into this movie, I'll talk about it. But I want the Sub-Zero movie. I want to know how he got his powers. I want to know the backstory, and that's what they could have done with these movies. They could have done the whole backstory.
That's something that I'm gonna lead to later. Yeah.
Yes. As we get into our stuff at the end of the movie, where we talk about, they could have done so much more.
Yes, sir. But I was definitely hyped for this movie after seeing the trailer. Just seeing Sub-Zero, Scorpion going at it. You're like, man. In my head, I was like, finally, they got something right, Yeah. But yeah, that was what I thought.
For me, who made the damn trailer? Like, whoever made the trailer, he cut it together to make it seem as this is the movie that they're giving us. They gave us another movie, which again, it wasn't that bad, but it could have been so much more.
Yes.
That's the thing about it. Like, and you gotta find issue with the movie studio. I hate to be this guy, but Warner Brothers does this all the time. They did it with the original Justice League. It's like, you kind of rush into it and you rush into getting these things and
You
going
gotta meet a deadline. You
Yeah.
gotta get this movie out.
And why? Why? It's not necessary. But, again, this movie is doing well right now, so we're going to see, we're going to see other shots at it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If you're a fan of Mortal Kombat and, you've played the games for years, you're going to like this movie. I mean, there's definitely a lot of positive things about it.
And here's the thing about it, too, is this movie's a hard R rating.
Yes.
It's not PG-13, and they lean into that a little bit more. Now, there's probably other stuff they could have done with it. I'm glad they didn't go they didn't try to sexualize it or anything like that. They left it at the fighting movie that it should be. But at the same time, they went after those fatalities, and that's what makes this movie good to the people that like it. Is, if you like the fatalities back in the day, you're probably going to like this movie.
Yep. Like I said, they do a lot of fan service, definitely.
Yes, and that was the thing too. Is I understand the game or the original game. It's a tournament. And there's not too much of a story behind it, so there's all kind of different ways you could probably go to it. Like I played the original game. I understand that there's a little bit of a story to it at the end. Like you get like a cutscene or something, telling you won the tournament and you saved the world or something like that.
Yeah, it's always at the end though.
Yeah.
Once you beat it, then you get the little story about the character.
Yeah, and you don't hear nothing in between it. I understand. I didn't play too much of the later games to it. I know they brought a lot into it. And the director for this movie said that he tried to incorporate a little bit of everything from all the games that he saw. But, again, there's other ways they could have probably went with it. And they shied away from. But, they do give us some good stuff. Like, I think it was pretty smart for them to release that first 7 minutes. Because the first 7 minutes are probably the best part of the whole movie. And,
yes.
You saw that, as we're seeing, it's good stuff. Now, I just don't know why. Like, they use very good actors. I don't know why they didn't use them a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what makes this beginning scene of the movie, where we get Sub-Zero and I forget their names now, and Scorpion. They're real names. Sub-Zero's from a Chinese family, while Scorpion is Japanese.
Yes.
And there's some kind of feud against them.
And Scorpion, I think his name is... Okay, like, everyone that's watched Kill Bill just heard Hattori Hanzo. that's kind of what they say. His name is Hanzo. That's what I heard, but, we know him as Scorpion. He comes back, and he finds that Sub-Zero killed his wife and kid. Now, he doesn't look for the baby. Like, they don't show the baby at all right now. He's got to know the baby's there. But, you just saw him come back and he finds this, and, it gets into this classic fight scene, and that, we've seen, and he uses his classic, and they make it a little bit more, I guess movie-like or realistic is where,
Spear.
he uses the spear, his little knife type.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, it was actually his wife's tool, his gardening tool, where she left out there, and he just picks it up, ties a rope to it, and starts beating ass with it. Yeah,
and it becomes his weapon of choice, and I like that shit. I like the way they kind of did that. And man, he kicks ass with it. Like, this dude's a badass.
Yeah.
Marvel fans will recognize him from he's the guy that Ronan kills, or Hawkeye kills as he's going after him. So he's a badass. I want to say there's he came out in the Wolverine. I don't know. Did you ever check that one out?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in that movie as well. And he's done a lot, man. Like he's come out in a lot, and that was a lot of the good that I liked from this movie. cast whoever you're gonna cast. I know, you know, people have issues with stuff like that, but you know, the guy was Asian in the video game. He should be Asian in the damn movie.
Yes.
You know, I love the guy, but I hate to go into shitting on it. But the original Mortal Kombat movie had Raiden, and it was played by Christopher Lambert. Like,
yeah, what was his?
The Highlander, bro.
Highlander. Yeah, it was definitely whitewashed, if you will.
Yeah, and you know, again, you know, cast whoever you're gonna cast. Now, what I will say about the original movie, man, they had Shang Tsung, and that dude was a badass. And Shang Tsung in this movie sucks.
Yeah, I didn't get the same feeling as I did with the original, with this guy.
Because we've all seen this dude get his ass punked out by Batman and the Joker. We've seen this guy. I've seen him. He's gonna tattle, as the Joker says.
Yeah, this opening scene, for those listening, we're kind of watching it as we're talking through this movie, but
yeah,
this opening scene is so great.
Yeah, and again, this guy, the guy playing Sub-Zero, there's an old, I believe it's a Japanese movie, or it's an old, it was an Asian movie. I think it's a Chinese movie called The Raid, and that was, you know, it's if you've seen a lot of the modern day fight scenes, I wouldn't say they copy straight from it, but they pull a lot from it, and a lot of the people that were in those movies, you'll see choreographing fights and stuff nowadays, and so you see it. Like I don't know if you ever watched the Daredevil series on Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah, that very famous fight scene that's in the hallway.
Oh,
yes.
Man.
Okay. Well, they pulled a lot from the Raid on that, and this guy was in the Raid. Sub-Zero was. And, you know, that's why he comes here, and he, you know, he's a badass. And, you know, again, these two guys, you could go into their whole, you know, story. Like, this is what they did back in the day. You know, there was a clan, they had a fighting style. This clan had a fighting style. If I remember my old, you know, fighting movies correctly, you know, there can only be one clan. So, you know.
Yep. And I like this line. It's one of the good things. I like the line that Scorpion gives him as Sub-Zero's killing him. He says, "Remember this face."
Yes.
That's such a badass thing to say as someone's killing you.
And, you know, so as they go into it, you know, as he passes, they say death is just another portal, right? So he goes into, you know, he goes to hell. And he has to battle his way back from hell, you know, to come out. And, you know, as we see through the movie, he's going to come back.
Yet we don't see any of that.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what we could do. But there's a lot of that, you know, like there's a great story to be told there. And it can be told. But, I mean, maybe they think that fans wouldn't be there for it. But, you know, sometimes you got to put some new stuff out there, you know, to see what hits and what doesn't. Like, you can go into each of these guys' backstory and make a movie, and then we come out with the Mortal Kombat movie. You know, you have the Sub-Zero movie, you have the Scorpion. You know,
I mean, I don't want to jump ahead on what I'm thinking, but man, we're so alike. I mean, that was my exact thought. It's like what I wanted from this movie. They should have just given us Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and that's it. And that's it.
Maybe the tournament is, you know, Scorpion has to battle all these people because he goes into the other world and he has to battle all these people in the tournament to come back, and his waiting for him at the end is, you know, Sub-Zero and Shang Tsung. Now, I know, you know, there's a lot of other stuff they can incorporate, like they try and do with this movie, but, you know, again, the backstory is there.
They're trying to satisfy the fans, instead of really trying to make it something special. I mean,
you know, they want to go in and they want to do the Avengers already. Give us the Iron Man movie.
Yes, that's my whole point. MCU is, you know, even though I hate to say it, MCU is the standard when it comes to making these movie universes. It's like,
and again, for the smartened up fan out there, you know, we know Iron Man wasn't their A person. You know, they're for Marvel, their leads were Spider-Man, which wasn't available. They have their leads were the X-Men, which weren't available. Yeah. So they went to. I hate to say it.
Yeah, at the time they said, "Oh, we have B-list characters."
Yeah, B, C-list.
And they worked their magic.
Yeah, and they trusted in the fact that there's enough of a fan base there that's gonna come out and see it. And credit to Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau, they come out and make the badass movie that is Iron Man, and Iron Man's near perfect, man. I could watch that movie to this day, and I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, but then and again they come out and they don't give you too much, right? They give you a little bit of a tease, and you see Nick Fury come out at the end, and that's all they give you,
So, watching this new Mortal Kombat for the first time, I didn't catch on it the first time, but they give us hints along the way, foreshadowing, if you will. You notice how they were wrapping his hands. Well, we're in the future now, so
yeah.
You got this guy. He's a descendant of Scorpion, and he fights for a living. He's not very good. Even the guy that's winning the fight says, you have no defense. All you have is offense. All you do is just get hit. And like I said, I didn't think of it at the time, not till afterwards. But this is kind of a foreshadowing thing for something to come later with this character.
Yeah, and it's it gets into he's wrapping himself in yellow bandages. His daughter gives him the bracelet, and it's black and yellow. His fight trim is black and yellow. It gives you those hints at who he's a descendant of and where he comes from. So again, his trunks are black and yellow. So it gives you a little bit of hints, and I kind of like the way they did this. Again, they're starting off in a fight setting, but it again, they don't use it again to the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's a fighter. I guess he's known for losing because he just, like you said, he's all offense. And you get someone coming into the little fight arena where he's fighting. We get...
And we start getting the little hints of the game, right? We get they go into this, again, they go into this fighting, and his daughter's there, which it's kind of odd. I don't know if... my kids are there watching me get my ass beat. If I have anything to say about it, but he probably could have won. He didn't use his daughter's advice. She's telling him to go for the uppercut, and it's kind of something that we're gonna see a little bit later. But he ends up tapping out, and the guy's watching him. And again, he had a backstory where he was, I guess, pretty good. But the reason the guy takes notice of him is, he has this little mark on him. And, it's something that plays out through the movie and through the stories is these people are either born or they inherit this mark of them, and they use the mark of Mortal Kombat. I kind of like the way they integrated that.
Dragon symbol.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I don't like. So we show the guy fighting, and then right away we cut to the Outworld. I guess that's what it's called. And we already have, Sub-Zero, full-on Sub-Zero.
Yes.
With the mask and everything. Where we saw him in the beginning, he just looked like a regular, regular...
And he says it.
Chinese.
He says, I killed Hanzo centuries ago. So we know from the beginning of the movie to now, it's the same guy, but it's centuries later, So, what the hell?
What happened?
Yeah.
We're just all of a sudden, he's full-on Sub-Zero.
And, okay, I know, because I know this is the way they come into the game, is, he's, the story of the game, right, is that there was 9 tournaments that they've already won or lost, and this 10th tournament, if this happens, then Shang Tsung and his people can attack the Earth.
They can take over.
Take over, yeah. And so we get into that kind of story, and that's, a little bit from the game. But the story mode of it is that, you know, they don't. Shang Tsung tries to make it to we don't even get to the tournament, and so he's gonna send Sub-Zero out to find the people that are marked and try to kill them.
He's got his assassins, because there's this prophecy that America's gonna win this next tournament. So, or the Earth, whatever, the Earth realm. He's gonna win this next tournament. So he tries to cheat it, Shang Tsung, and says, "Okay, I'm gonna send out these assassins to kill the fighters, kill Earth's champions before the tournament even starts. That way, there's no chance of them winning."
And see, and I'm gonna tell you, up until this point, I'm with the movie. I'm like, okay, but then we see Shang Tsung, and God, I don't like this dude. I'm saying I do not like this guy. I love comic book men. You ever watch that show, Comic Book Man?
Yes.
But this is like Ming Chen playing Shang Tsung. Like, come the fuck on. They couldn't get a better actor for this. Dude from the first movie wasn't available because that dude was a badass. That was Shang Tsung for me.
And that's the thing. I'm all for reboots, I enjoy them. But I think it's just because we have the old guy's face in our heads. And when we don't see that, it kind of throws us off. But, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. But the other characters in this movie seem to work fine for me. But that is definitely one that just it seems off. And
it's the one. And I'm like, I looked at his history and tried to say, okay, does he have a history of badass movies or something that he was in? No, he doesn't. Like, he's not some classic fighting character from old Chinese movies or anything like that. Like, I don't know who the hell he is.
I don't know. I've heard some people talk about this. So I think his name's Cole, the main guy in the movie. So he has his wife and his daughter. Some people seem to think that his wife, they thought it was his mom and his sister.
Yeah,
this lady looks way older than he does.
Yeah, I didn't. I totally saw it coming together. And I was just like, at first, that's what I thought too. That it was the wife, and that he was the brother, and that was his sister. But no, he's husband and wife with her, and that's their daughter. Which, I mean, they got busy when they were real young, I guess.
Because this main character does not look that old.
No. He looks,
maybe early 20s.
Yes.
And and with a teenage daughter, it's like.
And I don't remember if they say where they're supposed to be in Los Angeles, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And it's July in Los Angeles. This dude's wearing a sweater. She's wearing a jacket.
Well,
what the fuck?
It is California. Unlike Texas, when the sun goes down, it does get cool.
Does it? Okay. Hey, you're from there. I'll take it. As now, this scene is pretty cool. Like, I like Sub-Zero. Again, I was a big Sub-Zero fan. That was my guy as I played with. But this is pretty badass. But again, he's full Sub-Zero now.
Yeah.
You like, man, how did he become so badass? And then this guy that we find out is Jax from the. I believe he was in Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah. The second game. Comes out and we get a little bit more fan service, but we come out and Sub-Zero's calls it into hell on them, I guess.
Yeah, Sub-Zero's after Cole and Jax is like, hey, get in the car now,
And I don't know where Jax thinks that, he's going to take on Sub-Zero, but Jax has the Mark II on him.
Yes.
And that's how he becomes friends with Cole or becomes to know who Cole is, and they both have the mark. And
I don't remember if they talk about how Jax got it. Like I said, it does transfer because they're supposed to be the best fighters of the Earth realm.
Yes.
So I don't remember if they talked about it, but we do know that if someone defeats or kills someone with the mark, that transfers to that person.
The mark transfers to them, yes. And that I thought that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
It kind of says how they're chosen or how they would come up. Some of them are descendants from the older one, as we see in later on in the movie. But it does transfer. All right, brother, I'm back.
All right, and we're back. Had to take a break.
It's because I'm trying to stay hydrated because I drank too much Friday night, man.
That's what happens.
Just to let you know a little bit, like, went out. Ooh. I heard those are called Irish crickets there. I went out Friday night to watch a couple of bands play that I like, and I saw another one that I had seen before, and they had a new singer, so they kicked ass. It was a Deftones cover band,
Nice.
a Seven Dust cover band,
Nice.
and System of a Down cover band, which I'm friends with the guys from the Deftones band and the lead singer of the System of a Down band. And they kicked ass, and I was telling them about our show, and people were like, you know,
Where was it at, man?
Fitzgerald's, right over here somewhere. So, telling about our show, and people want to listen, and then telling people were like, oh man, well, you know, y'all ever doing anything? You know, you want to get me on? So,
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I really want to have guests, just get someone else's perspective on it. I think that's something we're definitely gonna be doing pretty soon here.
Yeah, I you know, again, you know, I don't want to speak for you or anything, but you know, I like it. You know, we're gonna go some places, bro.
At least we're gonna try.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm either that or we're gonna be two fucking old men here still talking about comic book movies when we're in our 60s.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hell yeah. we just might be a little bit more grumpier, like when we're older.
It's depressing. Like I said, I'm friends with these guys. They run a Star Wars podcast called the Starlight Digest, and it's kind of an ongoing joke with them, but because they're really into Star Wars. You know, it's been so long since we've had Star Wars, and it's really picking up now.
Yeah.
And one thing they joke about is, you know, thinking about there's gonna be Star Wars stuff that comes out after we die. And they get all depressed. They're like, man, don't tell me that.
Well, it's just like every year they put out the Marvel or the DC slate, right? Or what's coming out, right? Like,
right.
And it's like, oh, okay, another year or two of stuff to live for, you know, that's coming out. Again, you know, we all have all different stuff going on, but man, these are stuff that we dreamed about since we were kids. As a comic book fan, or you know, even as, you know, and you have to be a comic book fan. You can be just a fan of the animated series that were out back in the day, you know, or the video games like we're watching today. So there's a bunch of stuff coming out, and it's all there for you, man.
Yeah, it's good times to be alive.
I'm telling you. All right, so we just got through the scene where Jax takes on Sub-Zero by himself, and it's pretty badass.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how he thought he was going to be able to go up against this guy that can create ice out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm just going to shoot him with my shotgun.
But yeah, they get down and dirty, and Jax tries to punch him. Sub-Zero grabs both of his fists and just starts freezing his arms and just breaks them mothers off.
Okay, I don't know if you played Mortal Kombat 2. Did you ever get into that? But
I'm pretty sure I did.
You know, it's got a call to where, I mean, Jax is in there, but of course in the movie in the video game, Jax has metal arms, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, he was Winter Soldier before, you know, Winter Soldier got great. But of course, you know, people are gonna hit me up and be like, you know, the comic book was out before then. I understand that. I'm just joking around.
Everybody steals from everybody.
But you know, of course, like in the game, you know, as a comic book nerd, I was like, yeah, that's pretty badass. It's like the Winter Soldier, but it's not. But anyways, you know, so we see how that happens, which is pretty cool. You know, it's pretty cool. We see how Jax gets his arms there, and there's a little bit of a, I don't know if it was homage to the first movie, but the first movie, Sonya Blade pulls out the gun on Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero puts his hand on it and freezes it and breaks his gun. So, you know, I took it as an homage, but, you know, Jax was there, and Jax was there to get Cole.
Just to try to protect him.
Yeah, and, you know, he tells Cole, you got to go find Sonya Blade. And, you know, Sonya Blade we know is Jax's partner.
Yeah, they're both in the Army, Special Forces, whatever. That I don't know if you saw that. So there's a scene where he's going to go find Sonya.
Yeah.
And this guy Cole like gets on top of the car and like does this crazy flip over this short wire fence. It's like, was that really necessary?
It's not.
Just walked over it.
It's not. And then he gets his ass whipped by Sonya Blade as she comes out. And, you know, again, if we watched the first scene where he got his ass super beat, you know, his face is a little pink, but, you know, he's not even beat up that much. You know, you watch the end of these MMA movie or these MMA, man, and some of them, man, their face comes out looking very crazy for at least a few weeks out.
Man,
so
I don't remember the girl's name, but there was these two girls that fought, and that one girl, afterwards, she looked like the guy from Mask. Man, she was messed up,
bro. Yeah, you made me cough with that. The Mask reference, man. Eric Stoltz was badass.
Yes, sir.
But you know, he meets Sonya Blade here, and she's gonna tell him Sonya Blade don't have her mark, but she's gonna get her mark pretty soon here.
This is one thing. It'll come into play later, but I was like, what? Because so Sonya Blade, she's like the conspiracy theorist. She's got all these news clippings and stuff all over.
Oh, she's Charlie Day in the meme.
Yeah, like she's all trying to track down all these people. They have the mark and this and that. And she wants to know. She's trying to figure out the meaning of the mark and all this.
And it's the classic movie conspiracy theorist, you know, wall that they have, right? And it's always that. You've seen it in the Marvel movies. You've seen it in different stuff, but. You know, it goes and she has some. There's a lot of Easter eggs there in her wall.
But I mean, it's gonna come later. But the thing that gets me is like she's like doing all this investigation, and when they finally get to where they're going, they meet up with Liu Kang, and he's like, "Finally, we've been waiting for you guys." It's like, if you knew about them, why didn't you go get them?
Yeah, you know, Shang Tsung thought to do it. You know, he's one step ahead of you. You know, sorry ass Shang Tsung.
I don't know. It just seems silly to me. Like she's doing all this investigation about this, and supposedly they already knew about him.
Yeah, and so it comes out, and you know, one of the things that I liked about it is, you know. He keeps having flashbacks to the Scorpion character, which so I thought he was going to end up being Scorpion at the end.
Yeah,
that's what I thought it was going into. But you know, it does introduce us into one of my favorite parts of the movie was Kano.
Yes.
Yeah. This dude was good, man. He was out there talking shit and being a smart ass. And
I'll tell you, aside from the opening scene, Kano was pretty much the whole movie for me.
Yeah.
I think he had more lines than anybody. I mean, at least that's the way it seems.
He came out on top, and I don't know who this dude is. Like, I don't recognize him from anything else. Same thing with the majority of these characters, except for, like I said, the guys in the beginning. It looks like a lot of new people, which it's a way to go, I guess. You know, if you're trying to sell this movie.
I didn't mind that really. Yeah. I think it was more of the acting.
Yeah,
I didn't mind the nobodies
because I mean, I didn't think Sonya Blade was good at all.
I think sometimes you get that because I'm sure they're trying to find people with somewhat of a fighting background or some kind of talent, and then you know you get what you get. But
and I kind of like that because even like in the first movie, Mortal Kombat, they had Bridget Wilson. Was the Sonya Blade in that movie, and she didn't look like she could fight
Veronica
at all.
Vaughn.
Yeah, Miss Veronica Vaughn, so fine,
so hot,
want to touch the hiney. But that's what we remembered her from, right? Like, and then she was, you know, again, she was pretty hot at the time. She was coming out, and I think I Know What You Did Last Summer was one of the movies, and stuff like that. So she was pretty good coming out in that sense of it. But at the same time, it was just like she didn't look like she kills Kano in the first movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you weren't watching for that one. But she kills Kano in the first movie, and oh my god, like it's like she's like stick thin. Now, interesting tidbit was Cameron Diaz was supposed to play that role.
Really?
Yeah, and she broke her wrist during training, so they were able to get Bridget Wilson to come in for it, and that was a pretty good part. But again, this Sonya Blade doesn't do anything for me at all.
Yeah, she looks like your average girl next door almost. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, not like unbelievable, like hard to believe that she's the special ops.
Yes. Like, she's just it's almost like very average. Like, yes. I'm not saying looks, and I don't care less about that, but I'm just saying like she could have been a badass. Like, oh man, I'm gonna show my age here, but you remember back in the day they used to have the old karate movies in the 80s. They had this lady, oh my god, Cynthia Rothrock, right? She was a complete badass in all these movies that she came in, and she was like the female Chuck Norris. But she was making all these karate movies back in the day, which I was a big fan of. I was a big Bruce Lee fan and stuff like that. So I watched all these movies, American Ninja,
yes,
all those
Ninja.
Fighting movies back in the day.
That should have been Guile.
I'm telling you, right? Dude was badass. Again, and I want to say that was the classic Sonya Blade for me. Because that's who she was supposed to be kind of modeled after. Same thing with Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage was modeled after Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes.
So, again, that's what made a lot of it for me. You get into this and there's nothing real special about it. That's why this movie kind of hits a low or even drags as they come to these characters, because like in the first movie, Liu Kang's a badass.
Yes.
This Liu Kang in this movie,
he's a trainer.
I saw somebody post something like, I swear Liu Kang looks like he just delivered my Chinese. Which is stupid, man. But I mean, again, that's kind of the thing we got into. In the first movie, Liu Kang, he was a badass. You can go back and you can track back his record. He was I think he was a stunt guy for the longest time. So he came in and he did all his shit, and everything. And I just don't buy it from these people.
Yeah, I like that. We were following Liu Kang's story in the first one. With this one, we're following this new made-up character. I think that's what kind of some people get turned off about.
Yeah.
It's like, again, we're trying to reinvent something. And I understand I think they were trying to get like our perspective, a regular person's perspective going into this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and I know other people have said it as well, they could have probably done that with Johnny Cage.
Yeah. And this is the thing that I've heard. It's like, I know, spoiler alert, we'll get to it at the end, where there's a Johnny Cage tease. But that they were like, Johnny Cage is a smart ass and Kano's a smart ass, kind of, it would have ran into each other here. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, right now we're more interested in Kano than we are of our main, person in this movie, which is the Cole Young character. And again, they could have did it. They could have did the Liu Kang way. And we see someone that we know from the first video game as the, main character, main protagonist.
Could have had Liu Kang trying to gather up all the champions.
Yes, or Raiden. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that Lord Raiden is the main character of Mortal Kombat for them. There was a lot of people that was who they played as and everything. As I said before, I was a Sub-Zero character, so I'm into it, but you could have followed Raiden, in gathering the champions to, go against Shang Tsung for the 10th tournament. And that's a movie. But again, you're following this guy that we don't even know who he is.
Right. In the movie, we come to a point where, he meets up with Sonya Blade and she has Kano tied up. And Shang Tsung sends another assassin out to try to get them, which is a reptile, which some people have, reservations about that too, because it's literally a big lizard. It's like, we're used to seeing reptile as a ninja, but it is what it is. Some people also say, that reptile is just a species, and so this could just be one of the species, and maybe we'll get a reptile later on.
Yeah, and like in the original movie too, he comes out as a little like a lizard character, and then later on, I think he gets into an exoskeleton of somebody, and he becomes the ninja as we know in the movie.
My daughter's calling me. She's like, we want to go out to eat. Well, then go.
Oh, they're all going?
My daughter wants to go out to eat.
Oh. No. Hey, I told you, I have a 16-year-old son that he's as bougie as they come. I'm like, dude, like, I see you're spending every day, and you eat better than us sometimes.
I don't know. I didn't realize, like, I can pick up my phone on here, like if I can play stuff and I can record stuff on my phone. That's why it came up. I was like, what the heck? I
was like, damn, did I press something?
All right. We were at, they were fighting Reptile.
Yeah.
And that's when we got a little fan service. Kano ends up beating Reptile, rips out his heart.
Yeah.
And he pulls out the line, Kano wins. And
fatality.
It's a little cheesy, but like I think coming from him, it wasn't that bad.
No, and that was the thing too. Is again, if you're a fan of it, you're a fan of the game, like I am. You like that shit. Like again, going back to Jack's getting his arms ripped out. I remember fatalities like that. So I like that shit. But it's everything else that they're forcing in around it. Just go with what's there already.
Right. They said they're going to set off and try to find Raiden, I guess, right?
Yes, they're trying to find Lord Raiden's temple. And in their journey, they run into Liu Kang, who, already has his fire deal going. And that's pretty badass. But again, this dude, I don't know, I guess
he looks really young too.
Yeah, and maybe again, maybe that's what they're doing, and they're hey, we got more movies planned coming out, and I'm sure they are, and we want to start with a cast of unknowns and try to build it up, but at the same time, it's just like, this guy don't look like he's gonna go save the world.
Again, this is Kano again making the movie. Liu Kang shoots his fireball to try to stop them, because they start attacking, and Kano's like, did you just shoot fireballs at us? And he's like, so at some point we're all gonna get superpowers, or like, Kano makes the whole movie.
And they come into this thing, it's like where, okay, you got to find what your superpower is, and that becomes part of the journey, and it becomes them getting ready to go to the tournament, right? And they get to the temple, and Liu Kang meets up with, is it Kung Lao?
Yes, Kung Lao with the hat.
Yes, and that dude was badass. I remember that dude from the game because I was like, oh, this dude has a sombrero. He's Mexican like us. Was this some former mariachi that started fighting?
That was funny. I heard someone mention that too, that Kung Lao looked more Mexican than he did Chinese.
And hey, that takes me back to the first movie where we had Shang Tsung, and you remember the actor that plays Shang Tsung? Do you remember what Mexican movie that he's in? Bro, it's classic, and we're probably gonna have to cover it at one point.
I'm picturing him in my head. American Me?
Yeah.
So
it's, at the end, he's like, are you coming out? And he's like, no, I'm staying in. It's like, are you sure you know what you're doing? And he's like, Simon.
Oh, I can't wait till we go over those movies, man.
But yeah, dude, that, and then so Shang Tsung was Chino or El Hapo or whatever they call him in that movie. But as I tell when I first started working for Toyota, and forgive me if I offend anybody, but like I have an old Mexican family, and they're like, hey, we start hanging out on the weekends or whatever. As I've been working for Toyota for a while, and they're like, you still work with the chinos, mijo? I'm like, they're Japanese, mom. They're Japanese.
And that's the thing. It's like it sounds so racist now, but growing up, just hearing that stuff, it's not like they weren't mean. They don't mean anything by it. That's just all Asians. We call them chinos.
Yeah, and that was the thing. If you have, everyone has a chino in their family, right? Like in their friends. You have that one cousin that looked a little Asian, and everybody called them chino. So. Yeah.
Same like me. I'm like complected. I was called güero all the time.
Oh, and, dude, my son, my son is güerito. You get names like Miklo or güero, or
and it sounds bad, but I have a cousin that's real dark, and they use that word too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But again, it's just within family. It's not meant to be.
Oh no, yeah, because
bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. I tell you, like,
but it does come off bad. If other people outside your family.
My dad, I guess my brother's dad, and the dad that I grew up with, he's Puerto Rican, so he was dark. My brother's dark. We don't look nothing alike, but he's my brother, of course. And we've grown up that way. But I look like my mom. He looks like my dad.
It just sounds bad because, really, black in Spanish is negro.
Yeah.
That's the word for black.
That's the term. Yeah.
So then we call it, hey, negro. It sounds bad, but
every family has one, bro. Every family has, and it's like my stepdad. After my mom got divorced, and my stepdad is black. So I grew up. Having black family. Like again, I have cousins, again through my stepdad that I've had as family, as either we live next to or like we're around to this day that I see, and that's why I think when we get into a little bit of more of the racial topics we'll talk about, but I've seen all that shit. I've grown up with that stuff, and at the same time, it's like we all had the same struggle, so we don't take it as that. Like my stepdad, I'd say my mom's first boyfriend, dude probably knew more Spanish than I do, because he grew up in the Victoria courts, man. If you're in San Antonio, you're from that area, you know how bad that was. So that's where a lot of my family came from, and we're from the east side of San Antonio, and you grew up. And that shit wasn't that bad. Now, I had a grandpa that he never said anything that was, I'd say he never said, like N-word or anything like that. But, he'd call my stepdad Michael Jackson. And again, the dude didn't mean nothing by it. My grandpa, the World War II veteran, man, he never meant nothing bad by it, but that's what he said, Again,
I'm sure it's in every culture. Mexican culture, especially, or Hispanic, we talk shit to each other.
Oh yeah.
Like George Lopez always says, when someone does good, what do you tell them? Well, you think you're bad, or what?
So you think you're all badass? So hey, I want to look for a hey. So you think you're a badass card?
Yeah. So, well, we never compliment each other or congratulate each other. We talk shit.
And I'm telling you, again, like I said, you get around my family, you better have some thick skin, man, because we talk some shit.
All right, let's see. Back to the movie we're at. Raiden's Palace.
Yes.
And we get introduced to Kung Lao with the hat. And
Sub-Zero comes in, and
Shang Tsung,
he's still on his journey.
Shang Tsung sends Sub-Zero to try to again kill them off before they can start the tournament at his palace.
And dude, and again, like I was I'm into Kung Lao because again for the sombrero, he
looks Mexican.
I'm telling you, bro, I thought he was one of us. And and that was the thing. But again, this Shang Tsung does not do it for me. This dude does not scare me. Batman would kick his ass like he did. It's not for me, bro.
Yeah, this dude.
It looks like Ming Chen in a wig. And that's
does.
what's throwing me off. It
does
looks
in a
like
way.
too much like Ming Chen. And I love Ming Chen. I've met the dude. I've talked to the dude. But, him and Shang Tsung would not do it.
Yeah, so Shang Tsung and his assassins, he's got Sub-Zero and Melina with him now. They're at the palace and they try to kill him off, and Raiden says, you're cheating or whatever, this and that. And put some kind of spell where they can't. It's gonna block them out in some way.
And it's the classic from Karate Kid, right? He's like, okay, Daniel-san will enter the tournament, but you cannot touch him. Keep your people away from him before he goes to fight, right?
Yeah.
And so, he does that, and it gives them time to try and get these guys ready for what they're going to face, because, again, they're not facing regular fighters. This isn't a regular fight type deal. This dude fucking shoots ice balls out of his fucking hands. Shang Tsung's a sorcerer. It's going to be this big thing. And again, if they did this and they built them up to go to a tournament and we saw some of the tournament, this would work.
A sorcerer, because he doesn't have a hat.
Yeah.
If he had a hat, he'd be a wizard.
Yes. But, we've seen movies like this. Like, whenever I watch a movie like this, it gives me those old fight movie feels. But, again, we saw a little bit of a skirmish right now, but we're not seeing any fighting. You know what I mean? It's a fighting movie about a fighting game. We're seeing battles here or there, but there's too much in between. Okay, go back to our first podcast. Give me Kong versus Godzilla and just let me see them fight.
Yeah, and again, I think everybody watching, everybody going in is waiting for the tournament. Right?
Yes. So that's what we're saying. Like, okay, so they get into this where Kung Lao and Liu Kang, right? They have their powers have been unlocked, and they need to get
their Arcana.
Yeah, their Arcana or midichlorians. So we got to find Kano, Sonya Blade, and
Sonya Blade doesn't have the mark. So
yes.
They go into train and they tell her, you can only come in here if you have the mark. So you got to get out of here.
Yeah. And so they have the training area, of course, Kano's in the training area because that dude's a killer anyway. And I believe, I don't remember if they go into it, but that's how he got his mark and his
killed
power.
Someone, right?
Yeah. And again, they showed a little bit of it, a little tidbit. If we remember Kano from the game, he had his big red eye and he had like a metal part of his face, and it plays on that because Reptile cut his face, so it has a little bit of that going on, and so they're playing a little bit of fan service. He don't have his eye power yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, so they're in the arena. They're gonna fight to try to unlock their power, their Arcana.
Yeah.
Sonya Blade gets kicked out, so she goes to see Jax. They take Jax to this temple where he doesn't have any arms, but they got these people working on him from another realm or whatever. And you see his metal arms, but they just look like skeleton metal arms. They're puny.
Yes, bro. He's not in Wakanda, man. They're not hooking his up. But he's got these little puny metal arms, but it's coming to that, right? Like, he's Jax. He's jacked up. They're not at that yet. But as we see, they're starting to try to get the other guys ready. And again, one of the things that I like about it is, a lot of the fighting aspect, and a lot of the fighting is good. And these are good, like, martial artists. I believe Kung Lao's a martial artist. And this Louis Tan guy, the one that plays Cole Young, he's supposed to be somewhat too. But again, it's not, everything about it's not good.
The choreography is not there as it was in the opening scene. I almost get a little Iron Fist vibes. I mean,
yes, I want to say, was this guy in Iron Fist or something?
I don't know, man.
I want to. Again, I'd have to look into it, but I want to say one of them is signed up for the 5 rings we got coming out. So maybe, but again, they keep showing this guy, and he's getting his ass whipped out there.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if they're just going easier on him because whatever, but they're trying to force these powers out of him.
Now, see, and then
we get this cool scene. We get Kano against Liu Kang.
Yes.
So Kano thinks he's a badass. He just starts walking up to him, and Liu Kang just gives him the leg sweep.
And
he gets up and he gives it to him again.
Yes. If you played the game, this was one of the moves.
And then Kano anticipates it, so he jumps, and as soon as he lands, Liu Kang does it again.
If you played the game, like it was one of the moves that you could use. You always had that friend, right, that he would try to do all the damn special moves, and he'd be sitting there in the corner, and you can go up to him, and as he could do whatever he wants, but as he's coming up to you, you just hit that little leg sweep, boss. and it'd take you like an hour to kill him, but you would, and they'd be all pissed off. It's like that's all you're doing.
That was me back in the day. You got all these people that knew all the moves. I didn't. You had to learn those moves back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'd find something that would work, and I would just stick to it.
Oh, I was a button masher, bro. I was like,
Street Fighter. I remember Blanca. I would just do the electricity bolts.
Yeah.
Whenever someone came,
and his leg sweep, they had the back leg sweep on him. Remember? Yeah. And I'd always play, and I was never a special moves guy. Like, I couldn't do the damn fireballs. Or, it wasn't until I would do Sub-Zero, and his thing was a little bit easier to throw his ice balls. But, the fireballs in Street Fighter, or even, the leg thing, whatever, when he's doing the spins, I could never do that shit.
I think the most frustrating thing was, especially in Mortal Kombat, because you get the fatalities, right?
Yes.
So if you didn't know those fatalities, I mean, oh man, I was like you, as a button masher. So I'm here trying to do all this kind of stuff, and the guy's just standing there, and he just drops. Like, man,
yeah, and so I'd always be like, I'd be the one that would do the uppercut fatality, because that was the one fatality that I knew I could do or knew how to do, and it was so fucking cheap. But again, I'd be that one that would do that, and I'd get the kills, man. I'd do the thing where you just back up and try to kick, and so every time they came up to you, they'd get kicked, and I'd win cheap ass like that, and they'd get all pissed off, and they'd be like, "Take your quarter, kid."
Yeah, so they were fighting Kano and Cole, whatever his name is, trying to get their power out. Nothing was working, and we cut back to. We cut back to Jax. He's trying out his new arms, and he's all down on himself. Like, this isn't me, blah, blah, blah.
He's all pissed off, man. Because
he's like, look at my puny little arm.
Yeah, again, like, he's not in Wakanda. They're not, They're, I guess, they put the old Terminator arms on. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, Terminator.
That's what it looks like right now. It's like they give him the old Terminator arms, and he's not digging it. He's a big dude. It doesn't fit.
But again, like, he has the mark, so everybody that has this mark has this special ability or power, this arcana, whatever they call it.
And it's all about unlocking your arcana.
Yes. Another cool Kano scene coming up here. Again, Kano makes the movie for me.
Yeah, and I want, spoiler alert, he dies. But I want that. I want his story. Like, I want to know more about him. Like, they say in this movie, it's like death is another portal. Mm-hmm. I want to know if he's going to come back, and he's going to come back maybe with that whole metal face, or the metal side of his face in part 2.
I like they're all sitting down at dinner, and Kano wants an egg roll. He yells over to the other end of the table to Kung Lao. He tells him something, and he's like, I want one of those, pass one of those egg rolls or something. And Kung Lao starts to act like he hands it over and he eats it himself just to get a rise out of Kano, right? Start talking crap to him.
Because everyone's arcana is unlocked in a different way, right? Like, you know, what is going to be your thing? And, you know, Kano's ends up being anger.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a badass. He's arrogant and, you know, he don't like anybody talking crap to him.
And you know, I would have killed for Kung Lao to be eating a taco right now in this scene. Bro has a sombrero. He should be, you know. He wasn't. He's a three amigo.
For real.
But you know, again, it's a good scene. It's a little dragged out. I'll be honest with you. But you know,
yeah. But they start talking crap, and even Liu Kang's like, "Hey, you shouldn't be talking to Kung Lao that way. You should be." I forgot what he tells him. Like, you should be getting on your knees for him or something like that, just to get a rise out of him.
Yeah, and they are.
You should kneel down to him.
Because he knows he can't do anything. They have their fucking special powers. You know, this dude shoots fire out of his fucking hands. This guy has his hat that turns into a buzzsaw. You know, he's a badass. They're badasses, and they're just trying to get it out of him. And how are they going to do it? Now, the thing is, you know, they should have been doing this with Cole, right? Like, you know, our main character, and that's why people like Kano more. You know, Kano gets his power already.
Yeah, he starts getting all pissed off. He's like, I'm the freaking Black Dragon and this and that. And give me my damn egg roll. And it comes out of him. The eye laser comes out. and they all knew it. They all knew it. They were expecting it.
And again, I like movies.
He's all freaking laser beam. It's better. I like that. He says, it's better than fireballs, you pussy.
He's like, I knew it would be me. I knew it was going to be me first, you know. Again, it's good, and then, you know, it gets into it. It's like, oh, well, Cole still isn't getting his power yet, you know.
Yeah.
What's taking him so long? And he should know it. Like, you know, for a lot of us, again, you know, I talked about it last week, that are parents, you know, what's our driving force? It's our family, you know.
Yes, sir.
And you know, maybe because, like you said, he's too young, man. He doesn't look like a dad, you know. Again, he doesn't look like a dad of a teenager.
Back to his mom and his sister.
I'm telling you, right? Like, he doesn't look it. You know what I mean?
So now Kano thinks he's all bad. He's got his power. He's trying to fight Cole, and come on, get something out of you.
And it's just like I don't know what they're trying to make out of Cole. Like, what kind of hero they're trying to make him. Like, he won't take that extra step. He won't go that extra length of the way, or he won't, you know, he won't do that thing like they say in the Batman movies, right? Like, how you won't go all the way. Like, what kind of hero are they trying to make him for us? He looks like a pussy now.
Yeah. Like I said, they're trying to make him your average Joe, but I don't know.
And so, you know, again, you know, they come to the scene where Raiden comes, and Raiden tells him, just like, you're not going to make it. You got to go back. And, you know, he's got the mark, but he is not, they're not getting everything they need out of him, and he's becoming a liability. And fucking Raiden lets him know.
Yep. Tells him you're a descendant of Scorpion. Well, they don't call him Scorpion, but, you know, you got to go find your power, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's kind of classic because he's seen it, you know. Again, it gives him, he's had the visions and everything that he's had his whole life, you know. If you watch the first movie, that's how they discover that Liu Kang is one of the chosen ones. Is he has a vision of Shang Tsung and, you know, killing his brother. And, you know, he's having these visions, but he doesn't have his power, and what's it going to be that's going to give him his power? And I don't know. It's kind of fucked up that they sent him away, though, because he has no protection.
Yeah, they're like, you can't help us in this.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
I mean, knowing he has the
Go
mark.
protect your family.
Yeah, knowing he has the mark, you know, and that Sub-Zero is going to go after him without the mark. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
It seemed shady at the time, but I guess they know
what it was going to take to get him.
He loves his family so much, he'll do anything to protect them. So.
Yeah, and again, it's pretty bad, how they do this, or they do the lightning and transport him back. But again, it starts to hit up on, like you said earlier, it's like, you knew this, Raiden could have fucking transported this whole time. You could have got your fighters ready. It doesn't say much for the story. And it's not saying, it's like, okay, so we're not, I don't know if we're expecting a classic story coming into this, a video game fighting movie. But if we're not expecting the classic story, don't try to give us some kind of weak ass fucking story. Give us the fighting. Give us the tournament.
So we go back to the outworld, or what, I forget what it's called, the Nether Realm, whatever. And we get some more assassins. Shang Tsung's calling some more assassins. We've seen Melina already. We get a Cabal, which is cool. I really like seeing that character. I'm not familiar with these other guys. I don't know if they're in the game or not. This other guy with the big hammer. I have no clue who he is.
The Iron Lung guy, right?
No,
the other guy.
This other guy with the big hammer.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's a character from the game or not.
I want to say he's one from an older game.
The girl with the wings. I think they say Natala. I don't know if that's a character or not either. But
yeah, again, it's secondary, and the guy. The director kind of said he was trying to bring in from all movies or from all of the games. For a lot of us that were into the classics, it started off with the originals, and that's how I think. I mean, there's enough there for you to play from. Again, so I think they could have done that, but they go back and they get these guys, and this guy goes after Kano.
As we get Cabal going after Kano. And again, this is something where I would like to have seen some background. It's like, supposedly they know each other.
Yes.
And I guess Kano had the part of Cabal's being trapped with this iron lung.
And it was it something that, Cabal's the guy that Kano maybe killed, and when he killed, he went to the outworld, and Cabal's the reason Kano does have the mark now? Or something, it's something
we don't
that you
know.
got into, right?
We just know they have some kind of history.
And, classic-wise, Kano's a bad guy. Even he comes into this, and he is the bad guy.
But he is from Earth. So.
Yeah. So, it's kind of, what's the story there? You know what I mean? Because for a lot of people, he's the hero of this movie. For a good part of the way, he's the one we're rooting for, at least.
Yeah, Cabal talks to him, and it's Cabal that's convincing him, right? Come to the dark side, if you will.
And because he's the only fighter that they have that has gotten his power besides Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
He's
so
saying, help us defeat the Earth realm, and you can have all this other stuff. We get a glimpse of a shadow of Goro.
Yes, and again, Goro's the classic character.
That's disappointing, but
that you have to have in this movie, right? Like Goro, I thought in the first movie was done very well. They did him through puppets, and
it was badass.
There wasn't a lot of CGI back then, and that was one of the classic characters you saw. Now, so what Kano did was Kano destroyed the what was protecting them. So now here they come, and Kano's a backstabber.
Yep, he destroyed the force field or whatever, and now Shang Tsung brought his people over to take care of business, I guess.
And so again, you're kind of up for it, right? You're like, oh shit, here comes the classic battle. But again, it's not everything that it could be. You know what I mean? Like if we're here for the fights, we're here for the fights. Now, this is where I was here for it. There's a couple of parts in this battle here where, because they got separated, right? So Shang Tsung sends Goro back to Earth to go after Ko Lang because he's got to destroy this
Right.
bloodline.
And this is a big letdown for me. I mean, to me, Goro was, man, you had to climb that tower in the game to get to Goro,
Yeah.
So he's up there, and
He's right before Shang
and
Tsung.
even earlier in the movie, when they're in the tower, they're looking at a bunch of posters, if you will, about things that happened in the past. You see Goro just ripping someone in half,
Yes.
and you think, okay, he's up here fighting Cole, and he's gonna rip him in half. I mean, there's a point where he literally has him. He's choking him. It's like, why not just do it?
Again, because in the first movie, right, Goro, he'd hold you with his lower arms and beat your ass with his upper arms. You know what I mean? Again,
He's got 4 arms.
he's a bad motherfucker.
Like,
Until
there's
he
no
runs
way-
into Johnny Cage. You know what I
There's
mean?
no way this guy who couldn't even win an MMA fight at the beginning of the movie is going to defeat this guy.
Again, if it was an older character that had more of stuff that we knew from him, we'd understand. But this guy, he doesn't have his power yet, so he's getting tossed around and everything like that, and it's kind of forcing him now. If he gained his power already, he should last through the fight, but again, he's not there yet. And they cut to, it's like, they're doing the fight in the Outworld or at Raiden's temple, and then they're cutting through this fight and then the fight on Earth as well. And it's not doing it for me, man. Like, again, even this part of it, like, it's not there for me.
You got Melina going after Sonya Blade, and she pins her down, and she says, "You know what? You don't even have the mark. You're not even worth it."
Yeah, and so Kano's gonna go take, and
I'll take care of her.
in the first movie, man, Kano's raunchy as hell, and there's maybe rapey vibes, as he's kicking her ass in the first movie. He keeps calling her baby and stuff like that. So again, while it's good, it's not what it is, and you got Sonya Blade and Kano about to throw down. At the same time, Shang Tsung's doing his thing, against the people with the powers, while these guys take care of the other ones.
Yeah, and then you got, what is it, Kung Lao going after this chick with the wings again. I don't know if it's a character or not, so forgive me on that, but.
I want to say that it is. It's, again, in one of the older Mortal Kombat movies. Again, I played the original, and I played like maybe part 2, but as the games progress, I didn't watch this movie. But this killing is bad freaking ass. I do like that part where because that was one of the fatalities in the game. That buzzsaw
Fan service. He kind of buzzsaws this back girl in half and says flawless victory.
Yes,
which is, again, I get it, fan service. You want to throw in some lines, but this one seemed a little cheesy to me.
Yeah, but because in the game it's Shang Tsung that says it.
Yeah,
Shang Tsung.
I didn't mind it in the original one.
Yeah, and that's the thing in the game. In the game, it's the tournament's there, and you can't touch Shang Tsung. He can't touch you until the end of the tournament.
Right
now, he is the one, like, he sets up for the bad guys to fight the good guys or whatever, and he sets them up to fight. In this movie, he's trying to prevent the fight from ever happening.
Right.
Which, again, it doesn't do it.
And again, they're probably setting something up. What I'm hearing on the street is that they're going to do a 4-movie deal. So
okay.
So again, even I think it's probably going to lead up. Probably the fourth movie is going to be the actual tournament, but still, they could have done so much more.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like leading up to it, like they could have gave us the Iron Man. You know, they didn't have to give us Endgame. You know,
right?
And not I'm not saying everything has to be a world or everything, but it seems like that's what they're trying to do, right?
Like they started with Avengers.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's the same thing, and it's WB again. Like I said earlier, it's WB is the one that's controlling this. You know, I'm happy. You know, hey, it's on HBO Max. You have this platform. You can do movies. You can do shows that lead up to the movie or something. You know,
yes.
They had the platform for it. They don't have to go into this. Like, maybe we hear is like they had to do this, they had to do that, or that's the only way they kept the license or something like that. But it wasn't what needed to be. It's like, you know, the thing with Sony and Spider-Man is like they had to do movies. You know, they had to keep doing it in order to keep the license. And I kind of, I don't necessarily like you know that they kept rebooting. Like I understand that part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know. So they get into this, and it's Cole and Goro fighting, and you know Cole discovers his superpower. Now, again, I wasn't a fan of the older games, but as I understand, this isn't a character from an older game.
No, this is a totally new character. That's what turns some people off.
Yeah, and again, you know, he discovers his powers, and now he has blades and shit, and he's gonna fucking kill Goro.
This is where it kind of goes back to the beginning where they show him he's a fighter and they're wrapping his hands. Mm-hmm. So he ends up, his power, he has like this suit of armor almost that resembles the wraps from his hands.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, you know, the promoter or fight coordinator at the beginning was telling him, you know, you have no defense. So, you know, you're just all offense. So this suit is kind of like the Black Panther suit. He gets hit and hit and hit by Goro, and this suit is just absorbing all that power, and then he can just unleash it on him. And
transfer it back, right? And then he listened to his daughter, right? Like
give him the uppercut.
Yeah, give him the uppercut. He gives him the uppercut. And again, I understand that. I understand what they're trying to do there. But at the same time, it's like, give me a little bit more of Goro before this. You know what I mean?
No, such a waste.
You know, and because he looks great. Don't get me wrong. He looks like a badass. But, and I totally, I like the gore and the kill of Goro. But, you know, he kind of went out, you know, pretty quick here.
And I think it's upsetting, like I said, because Goro, I think he's a badass. But some people I did hear, you know, that maybe it's okay because even in this movie they do reference him as Prince Goro. Mm-hmm. So I know there's another one, I forget, Montaro. There's some other there's like a whole clan of these four-armed beings. So that's why some people are okay with it, even though I'm not. But I think we're gonna see those other characters,
because too he gets taken out by our main character that they're trying to build up this whole movie, and you know, even though he's been getting beat down the whole movie, they're trying to build this character in him and to maybe explain or kind of justify how he can come back. But at the same time, it's like one of the characters again that I didn't like. A lot of people from the classic movie or like from the old movie or that were fans of the game don't like. And then he takes out Goro, a classic champion that, you know, we all liked, you know.
Again, there's a point where Goro has him holding him all four arms. He could have ripped him in half.
Yeah.
But so he gets his powers. Raiden summons him back to the palace to help out.
And again, I'm sorry, but Shang Tsung does not fucking is not convincing at all, man. He's not, like, there's nothing that makes Shang Tsung look like a badass in this movie. You know.
Then I don't understand. I mean, it's a cool scene, but Shang Tsung reaches over and grabs Kung Lao and just starts taking his souls. Like, normally wasn't there a fight scene before he was able to do that? But
the guy has to get beat, right? And he gets beaten. That's how Kung Lao takes his soul, because he got beat. This dude wasn't getting beat, you know. Again, that part of it makes no sense. And
he just
Kung
grabs
Lao,
him.
Kung Lao is not what he should be or what it is for me. But you know, that's the part of it that I didn't like, or because again,
it's a waste of a character.
Yeah, as I talked about earlier, I liked Kung Lao. Yeah. You know, he was a badass. But you know, he comes and you know, Kung Lao and Liu Kang are cousins, but you know, he's telling them, you know, like, or he's telling Raiden, you know, like, Raiden could have done some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he says he can't get involved. Raiden says he's a god, he can't get involved. But yet, as they were getting beaten, he summoned them away to this other place. So.
Yeah. And you know,
by now Jax has his powers. There was a little clip of him trying to lift up this big rock. He couldn't do it. He was getting frustrated, and then all of a sudden he got his Arcana, and his arms formed into what we know as Jax's metal arms.
And so, you know, they go into this other Earth realm, and you know, it gives them reason to be, you know, hidden or whatever. But you know, it kind of talks about it flips now, right? And it's like, you know, well, now I have my powers, and Cole wants to go fight some more.
Yes,
you know, so he's into it and stuff, and now they're gonna go take the fight to them. And again, I guess, you know, we're gonna see the tournament eventually. But,
yeah,
you know, this is what it should have been, and it could have been.
Yeah, this is where it starts getting weird and just.
And you know,
losing me.
I understand a big part of it is like all of these superheroes, they need this big freaking ending movie to the movie, right? Like, you know, after the first Avengers, it's hard to do a movie where just one guy fights another, and that's the end of the movie. But you know,
yeah,
you can go back to that. It can be that classic. It don't have to be this big CGI battle at the end to get the point across. It doesn't have to be that big, you know. It can still go back and be this type of movie.
Yeah, so they figure the only way to defeat these guys is if they split up. So they're all each like Liu Kang takes Cabal. Sonya says she'll take on Kano. Jax is taking that other character. I forget what his name is, with the hammer.
Yeah, hammer dude, Thor.
So now they're all fighting individual fights,
and it's
just tournament-like, I guess.
It's okay.
I don't know for sure, but some people say that this sequence here, that a lot of the backgrounds or areas where they're fighting are from the games, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, no, and at the same time, that one of the things I liked about the first movie, and a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people that had problems with that movie. It wasn't great by any means, but one of the things I liked is that they went to an island for the tournament, and there was an actual tournament, and people were actually there, you know, watching the fights and stuff.
Had Bloodsport vibes, you know.
Yeah, I like that shit. You know, back in the 90s, that was our jam. You know, Bloodsport was badass. Kickboxer was badass. You know, Game of Death. You know, you getting to the Bruce Lee movies. You know,
it's another fatality
where but that was the fatalities were probably one of the best parts about the movie, besides the first 7 minutes.
Yeah.
The fatalities, and I like that they went for the R rating and they got it. You know, because you needed it doing these damn movies, you know. If you're gonna do a fatality, you know, the fans of the original movie, they're our age now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you're not making this movie for 13-year-olds to go fucking see it. You know, it's an R-rated movie. But we get into it, and then we get the classic Kano versus Sonya Blade, because that's the original That was the original thing in the first movie, and I want to say even the game backstory is, you had for every bad guy you had a good guy who was their opposite, or who was the protagonist and antagonist. Yeah, their rival, and this is where it came here. Now, I thought that was kind of hokey the way they got his eye. I think she threw something in his eye or something like that.
It was like,
oh my god,
baking powder or something. I don't know what it was. It kind of clogged up his eye and he couldn't use it. It was kind of okay. Yeah,
but again, it's pretty good, and we've seen these women do these classic fighting movies, but they could have had Uma Thurman or something. or somebody again. I like this. I liked Sonya Blade. I liked her in the first movie. I liked even Sonya Blade in the game, but the way they kind of went about it here was a little hokey for me.
And then how she gets him.
Yeah.
She finds a garden gnome, which Kano spit on earlier in the movie. And runs that gnome's pointy hat right into his eye.
But the important part is she killed Kano, so she absorbs his mark, and now she can be one of them.
She can be one of the champions.
She's got to find her. Now she's got to find her deal and get her superpower.
Which she just finds automatically. Where everybody else took a while to get someone else to force it out of them.
Yeah, and we get the Liu Kang fight, and we finally see Liu Kang's kick in the fight here, which is pretty badass. Yeah. Again, we see Melina, getting her fight, and during the Liu Kang fight, he gets a couple, and then he gets his card. Yeah, and that's what I guess if you're a fan of the games. When you saw these fatalities come out, you're like, okay, I can deal with a lot of the bullshit that they have here just to watch these fatalities. But now it's like, am I going to go back and watch this movie again and again? Probably not. No. I'll maybe YouTube some of the fatalities or tell a friend, like, hey, you got to see this shit. It's pretty badass. But am I going to go, hey, tell anybody, hey, go watch this movie, man. You're going to love it. No. I mean, I can't, not with a good conscience.
We got Cole beating on Melina. He starts beating her down. She finally reveals her big ass mouth.
Yeah. And then we get the Sonya Blade.
Sonya, who just defeated Kano.
Yeah.
And she finds her Arcana and blasts a hole right through the middle of her.
And again, okay, that's Sonya Blade. That was her super deal, right? In the game or whatever. And I guess
but she just defeated Kano and teamed up with Cole, and then she just automatically had her power. So yeah.
No. Hey. And then so they get this, and Sub-Zero's the best badass in the movie. But, why wasn't he there all along? Again, we saw how fucking killer he was in the first part of the movie. He could have just did that shit here right away.
That's what I don't understand. I don't know why he went after Cole's family. Just to get him, just to rile him up even more.
And then
probably just to mess with him, because now Raiden revealed that he is a descendant of Scorpion.
And so again, maybe it explains a little bit of it. Is that Cole's daughter? Then she's a descendant too. Then
I guess so.
And that's not his mom; that's his wife. So she's not necessarily a descendant, but that's what it kind of goes into here. And so now we're gonna see this battle, or Cole's gonna go after Sub-Zero, and I think if he would have killed Sub-Zero 1-on-1, people would have fucking shit themselves.
And
there would have been a riot.
And even at this point, how you mentioned earlier, because we had a moment where Raiden gives Cole the blade from Scorpion.
Yes.
Gives him his blade. And again, I was thinking what you're thinking. I was like, oh, he's going to
turn into Scorpion.
He's going to transform himself into Scorpion. Or Scorpion's going to take over his body or something like that. I thought that's what was going to happen.
But again, so when they get into this part of it, again, Lord Raiden can transfer himself anywhere. Where the fuck is he?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why is it only this dude? And I understand it, but at the same time, this dude Cole, it's like you said before. They highlighted the whole movie. He doesn't have any defense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Again, against Sub-Zero, his ass should have been killed a long time ago. But they get, it's how they get, I guess, Scorpion coming back, and Scorpion travels back, and they don't really explain where he came from.
We just knew he was allowed to come back to fight Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
But why, how, when, what happened?
And they gave us the classic get over here, and then even this, it gets back into something that I do like. I like this scene here. Again, in the game, in the stuff, I don't ever remember them using swords and stuff. But it's a classic. It's a classic battle. I like the fucking ice sword. That was fucking badass.
Yes.
I grew up, watching Thundercats and watching fucking He-Man. So I like a badass sword battle,
Sir.
If anyone's ever fucking, you wrap presents, what do you do with the stick at the end? You turn it into a lightsaber, or it's Conan's fucking sword, and you think you're badass for about 5 minutes until your wife tells you to put it away. But, I love that shit. I'm here for it. But again, that wasn't part of the game. But, they give us the classic, get over here.
Yeah. And we come full circle. So Scorpion takes off his mask and says, "Remember this face?"
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm Scorpion now." So, yeah, that's awesome.
And then, okay, so, meanwhile, Scorpion's battling Sub-Zero, and this guy's he's trying to get his family out. But this was, the scene from the previews that we all saw,
the trailer.
Yeah. And that's one of the best fucking things I've seen in a movie. Again,
that's so badass. You're stabbing him with his own blood.
Yeah. And this is a little bit of callback. Remember when he does this to him in the beginning and cuts him? Sub-Zero's up for it now, so he catches the blade coming back. But it was so badass that you get stabbed with your own frozen blood. That was so badass. And again, you want to watch this, and you're into fighting.
I like that too.
You can watch the fight scenes. Watch this fight scene. Watch the fight scene in the beginning. Everything in between, you don't really need. Yeah.
But I like that too. I don't know if you noticed how Sub-Zero was down, Scorpion was coming at him, and he made a frozen figure of himself.
Oh yes, and he's constantly making these badass things, right? Out of ice. How did he get there?
Right.
When did he get there?
Because in the beginning, he had he had some power. He had like a little bit of ice he could do in his hand.
What we saw too is that when he made the ice, it came out of his hand almost like Wolverine's fucking claws, and it made him bleed, Yeah. And now he's at the point where he's full Sub-Zero, and he's not there anymore.
That was one thing I liked about the original movie when they showed Sub-Zero, how it was kind of like you could see he's taking like all the moisture from around him and making the ice, where here he's just automatically just can make ice.
And it gave him a weakness, right, in the first movie, because he didn't really have that. But when he's generating that ice field, use the element of life to kill him. Right. And, he uses the water, he throws the water on him, it makes a spear, and it spears right through him. It's badass.
There's one thing I don't understand. I know he starts getting beaten. Sub-Zero starts getting beaten, and he takes off his armor, if you will. It's like, what was the point of that?
I think it's the classic battle. I think there's no point of it. Yeah, but he wanted to see. They want him to see his face. I guess I don't know. It's the classic.
With my own eyes.
Yeah, it's the classic Iron Man deal. It's at the end of every Iron Man movie, or in some part in the movie, it's like we got to see RDJ's face in the suit, right? You know what I mean? Now this guy, again, they are famous enough that to people who like fighting movies and stuff like that, these are two of the classics. But again, our Sub-Zero was the classic Ninja Sub-Zero. Testing.
We're good.
All right, bro. Sorry.
Where we at? At the end of the movie.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I had to go to the bat room. If you're here at Lucky's, it's the bat room. It's not the bathroom. It's the bat room.
Yes, we get Scorpion telling Cole, say, hey, he's done. Leave him to me. And then we get the famous fatality.
Yes, and so I guess this is one of the things, Scorpion got an inhale, is he got this ability, and this was one of the classics, fatality. I like that even in the first movie, they kind of, showed the skull and the fire and everything coming out. But, I liked this part of it, but at the same time, it's, it makes you want for more.
Yes, sir. And Scorpion's telling him, take care of my bloodline, blah, 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 going back to hell.
And I wonder, does it set up, for a later part, where we see
so one
Scorpion
thing,
come at him?
Yeah, I'm noticing too, Sub-Zero, he's charred, but his body's still there.
Because it says,
and I think I've heard other people say that Sub-Zero is not a single person. That it's, I guess it's part of that clan where anybody in his clan can become Sub-Zero.
Well, if you if you beat the game in the first Mortal Kombat game, and it shows at the end, you get to your clan and it's Sub-Zero amongst a bunch of Sub-Zeros. So that's what makes it. It's pretty crazy at the end. I never got into the later games and beat those and saw how those went, or if they used anything from the Bloodline. I want to say I remember there being like a Sub-Zero game at one point, but I can't say I played it too much.
So we get Raiden come back and say, hey, I'm impressed. He's impressed that they beat Sub-Zero. It's like, come on. You could have helped us out, man.
Yeah, in the Ice Palace, and he comes back and, Shang Tsung lets him know it's not over. There's still the tournament. So I guess, there's going to be a tournament, they haven't.
See that?
Yeah, and, Shang Tsung's going to come back with a League of New Warriors.
So I've heard other people talk about it. Made me think too. So this is not the tournament, right? He's doing all this to prevent a tournament, right?
Yes.
So he says he called all these people his assassins. So that makes me think that that's just going to lead up to other characters that are actually going to be in the tournament.
Well, he says it at the end here is where he says, I'm not going to come back with warriors. I'm not going to come back with fighters. I'm going to come back with armies. So, I mean, I hope we get into the tournament aspect of it or the fight aspect of it. But if it becomes just this shit where it's like the end of Endgame, which was awesome, of course, don't get me wrong, but they built up to that, where there's armies, clashing with your heroes. I don't want it next movie.
You even get Raiden saying, like, what are we going to do now? He's like, I'm just going to create a new list of champions. We just got to go find them. Which, again, leads me back to the whole Sonya Blade thing, trying to figure out what was going on when Raiden and Liu Kang, they knew these people were out there to begin with. Why didn't they go get them?
Yeah, because if you go into, like I told you, like, Sonya's whole thing there, like, there's a big history behind it, and she has a lot of stuff in there. Part of the history is, going into some of the characters that were in later games. Like there's I want to say there's like an Aztec warrior type deal. There's an Indian that's there in there as well. That they're gonna get into eventually, I guess. But that's what part of the history, and you know, we're gonna talk about it right now, but the history looks a lot more interesting than the movie we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, then at the very end, you know, we get the tease when Raiden says, "Oh, there's more warriors. We got to go find them." We cut to Cole going back to his gym to get his stuff. I mean, I don't even know why he's there, because the guy says, "Oh, you're here to fight," and he's like, "No, like you just here to get your stuff." I don't know. And he says, "Oh, well, where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to Hollywood." And then he passes by a poster of a movie for Johnny Cage. So
yeah, that's our teaser, and yeah, we know we're gonna see Johnny Cage in the second one. Now, Johnny Cage for me made a lot of the first movie.
Yeah,
I like that dude. That was Johnny Cage, and even though I don't know a lot more that he was in, but Johnny Cage in the first movie was one of my favorites. I didn't even like Liu Kang that much. I like Johnny Cage a lot more.
So here's where a lot of speculation is, like, who's going to play Johnny Cage? And this is where I was saying, I think, I don't know if it was the fans or the writer or someone with the movie wanted the guy who we were talking about earlier, that played Cyclops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Cyclops.
Yeah.
Richard Marston.
So people were saying that they wanted him to play. I was like, okay, I see it, I guess. One fan thing that I've been seeing go around is, I know you're a wrestling fan, about the Miz playing.
Yes, and it's not even a fan thing now. It's like the fan things want it, but Miz put it out there himself, and he's like, no CGI needed, no anything. I am Johnny Cage.
He has that kind of attitude, right? His wrestling character.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of the Miz. Like,
even before wrestling, the old Rosals.
he was he was on the Real World, and he brought the Miz character from there, and so he's always played it. WWE does a excellent job of doing documentaries and stuff, and they recently released his 24 documentary, and it, you know, talks about, like, you know, he got a lot of shit when he first started because he came from the reality TV world, and he had to fight through all of that. So, man, the Miz is where it's at, you know.
Which is funny because, I mean, WWE fed off of that as well. They had those. What is it, Tough Enough, or what is those?
Well, that's where he came into WWE. He won, or he was in. He came second place in one of those Tough Enough things, but you know, while of course, like, people like that, and it's another side of it. You know, to use a wrestling term, you get heat from it backstage. You know, these guys are all you know, fighting for their spot on the show, on the card, you know, because the higher the spot, the better the spot, the more money you're gonna make.
Right.
And he came in, you know, and he was given a spot, but you know, it goes through it, and this motherfucker's done everything he's needed to do to earn that. And then, you know, fans at first were like, "Oh, fuck this guy," you know, and I was one of those fans that was like, "Oh, I can't believe this motherfucker," you know.
Yeah.
But little by little, just dude works his ass off, and he does the job, and he's not only, because, you know, you got to have 2 or 3 aspects to being a good wrestler, and he's not only worked his ass off on the you know, his wrestling ability, but on the mic, man, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
now,
he's got that personality.
And then now he's broadening his thing where he has a reality show again, with his wife, who I was a fan of as well, Maurice, and they do the Miz and Mrs. show, which, you know, classic wrestling fans, or these wrestling, I'd say nerds, I guess, hate that shit. But for me, I see the broader spectrum, and this brings more people into it because, you know, the Miz and Mrs. show I can watch with my wife. You know, she's not going to sit there and watch 3 hours of Raw with me, but she'll watch the Miz and Mrs. show. She'll watch the Total Divas show and stuff like that. And that's what WWE does a good job of, is bringing in these secondary characters, or like these casual fans and the classic wrestling fans that like the AEW shit show. Shout out to Charles and some of his fans there. They don't like that side of it, but it's sports entertainment. There's got to be an entertaining factor. So Miz is very entertaining. Miz is Johnny Cage, or could do Johnny Cage now. I don't think it happens because I like Johnny Cage is a classic kung fu character or whatever. He was modeled after Jean-Claude Van Damme. Can Miz do that fucking split? If Miz can do the split, he's all for it.
He better start working on it.
Yeah, you gotta do the fucking split, bro.
Start stretching.
And that was
that's one thing they're gonna want to see.
Yeah, you remember the in the first movie, he don't use it at all until he fucking fights Goro and just drops down, boom, and hits Goro in the nuts. So that was one of the good things about it. I think the Miz could do it, man. I don't know. We'll see.
If it's not the Miz, you got anybody else in mind?
I can't I don't. The kung fu movies, they're not like they used to be. Back in the day, we had, the American Ninja movies. We had fucking movies like that where I haven't seen one in a long time that are classic, kung fu type movies.
Right.
If you do, you're watching, like a lot of these foreign language films, like you went to go see this past weekend. I don't see that a lot now. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. And I'm just not paying attention, and I don't watch a lot of foreign language films, so I don't know. If I do, it's because someone told me, hey, go check this shit out and stuff like that. But no, I don't.
I think people give this guy a lot of shit. Maybe not even for Johnny Cage, but you're a Power Ranger fan?
Yes. So
this guy, he pretty much makes a living off of cons and stuff now, but JDF.
I know. Is it JD? Yeah, John David Frank, right?
Yeah. So he's actually a legit, kung fu artist.
Yeah.
I think he just got, once you're a Power Ranger, you're marked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think he probably could have done some stuff. I mean, he's older now, and maybe he could still do some stuff. But
no, I thought you were gonna go into the dude from they made the newer Power Ranger movie, right? Which it wasn't that bad, man. I don't know why we haven't seen them go into another one. Again, Power Rangers came at a time when I was already kind of out of that thing. Yeah. I was Batman the Animated Series fan, but I wasn't a big Power Ranger fan. But in the new Power Ranger movie, they had, I think, the Red Ranger guy.
Yeah,
he was the guy from Stranger Things.
I like that guy a lot.
I'm waiting to see him in something. He's a good actor.
I'm still say he should be Johnny Storm.
In Fantastic Four, if they ever do it again, I can see that. But again, Jean-Claude Van Damme, shit, he could probably do it.
He's old too, but I bet he can still do the splits.
Yeah, motherfucker. I saw a recent video of him. Double A from the Just Another Friday Night Show. He went to go see Ray Parks at he was just at what Mission or no?
He was at Heroes and Fantasies, and I think he spent some time at Traders as well.
Yeah, and he was out there doing moves. I was like, God damn, this dude still has it.
That dude gets a lot of crap too. I think because he's not all there, but maybe he's a badass martial artist, and he could do all the moves.
John David Frank, what was it, JDF? Right?
Jason, I think Jason.
Jason. I didn't like he called out CM Punk one time, and CM Punk's like my favorite wrestler of all time. So it's like fuck him, fucking calling out CM Punk, bro.
Like I said, that guy gets a lot of heat because he's a Power Ranger and that's all he's known for. Yeah, but I don't think who's ever given a chance to do anything else.
And that's the thing right now. It's like I like the con scene. I like that there's people that are now getting their recognition. I wish it hit a little bit earlier, like earlier in the 90s. Like, you know, people like Adam West didn't get to experience this. You know, he passed. And, you know, for the longest time, he dreaded the fact that he was Batman because, you know, that's all. After Batman 66 was done.
That's what he was known for.
Yeah, that's all he was known for. Now he could have made, you know, more of a living off of it and stuff like that. But, you know, at the time, man, like it was, you know, it was a burden to him.
You know, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. You
Yeah.
know, we won't know unless, you know, we're in their shoes, but, you know, you have to enjoy it, I guess, for what it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and just take it in, you know. Yeah. Hey, I'm Batman, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I like. Like Henry Cavill, you know, he enjoys being Superman. He's a nerd. You know, he's not just like us because goddamn, look at him. But he's a nerd, man. Like you know, he's into it, and he was into The Witcher, and that's why he did that. But,
that's a good show.
Yeah. So I like these people that embrace it and stuff like that, you know. You know, I remember the guy that played Red Skull, he was like, I would never do this again, and that's why he didn't come back for Endgame. But, you know, I like the ones that like it.
I don't know why. I mean, you know, it's such a short life. I mean, take advantage of what people give you, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's just like now we see Keaton coming back, right? And we talked a little bit earlier about how the Flash is starting to film, and Keaton came back to the Batman role and whatever like that. But, you know, for a long time after the Batman role, you know, he was like, he talked shit about it. Like, he didn't like it, you know, stuff like that. Or you know, he stayed away from everything that was Batman. I want to say they even asked him about Christian Bale. He's like, oh, well, I've never watched those movies and stuff like that. But
you know, he did come here right when cons were ending. I didn't get a chance to go. Yeah. I wish I would have.
I would have took a fucking mop and had him sign that shit. Come on, Mr. Mom.
Yes, Mr. Mom. Oh, Mr. Mom. Gung Ho is another one of my favorites.
And Gung Ho hits for me and you because, you know, we work for a fucking Japanese company now. So,
yeah.
You know, I remember, you know, going back to my aunts and uncles. Hey, you work for the Chinos? They were like, hey, do you do calisthenics at work? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you go and do stretching and stuff. And I was like, no. Then when we really start doing it, like, we fucking get there in the morning and we do stretches. You know what I mean?
For those listening, yeah, we do stretches before we start. But Michael Keaton, I think he's embraced it now. I mean, especially now when, you know, everybody's hyped. He knows people love that Batman. And I've seen clips of him at like graduations. Like, I'm just gonna leave you with
2 words.
With 2 words, you know, I'm Batman. And,
yeah.
You know,
and everyone pops for it. It's like, yes, motherfucker.
I would embrace it. I mean, for me and a lot of people, that's their Batman.
Well, and Michael Keaton,
and he's such a good actor.
Yeah, his Vulture was fucking badass.
Vulture's badass.
The way they did it and everything, and how menacing he becomes, and just that little scene in the back of the car where you know, he's dropping them off at prom. Just that little scene with him, and Tom Holland's so fucking good too.
Yeah. It
makes that movie for me. Those movies are great. Like, one of the good news things I heard this week was that the Spider-Man movies are coming to Disney Plus.
Yes.
So
eventually.
Yeah.
I think there's a deal with Netflix where they're going to be on Netflix for a certain period of time, and then they'll be on Disney Plus. It's something about where Netflix gets exclusive rights for whatever period of time.
Then they switch over.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, we got to the end of our Mortal Kombat movie, and again, you know, there's a lot of stuff we didn't, you know, like about it. There's a lot of stuff that we did like about it. Again, you know, I'm not recommending this movie to anybody, but, you know, let's get into our series of questions at the end here.
All right. So, Mortal Kombat 2021. What was the best part of the movie for you?
again, we talked about it, but everything Scorpion and Sub-Zero was what was good for me. The fight at the end, the fight at the beginning, everything between those two characters specifically was the best part for me.
Yeah, and I have to agree. I've been saying it this whole time. The first opening scene before we get the title, right? Mortal Kombat. It's probably the best part of the whole movie.
Dun, 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 dun.
You know, Kano comes a close second. But yeah, everything between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Now, again, the second for me is the fatalities. Because,
yes.
You know,
again, fan service.
Yeah, if you're a fan, that's what you liked. But that and they did give us a little taste of the music.
It was there, but it was like a remix.
Yeah.
You can tell. Oh, but it was different.
Yeah, and then if you went back and because of the person I fucking am, I had to go back and watch the first movie, and the first movie, when the sign comes up, it's Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
I used to rock out to them. I ain't gonna lie. I was a nerd.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I used to, cruise down the street in my white truck, and Mortal Kombat would be blasting, and people were like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?" All right, what's next to see?
Surely you can't be serious.
So, surely you can't be serious. What was the worst part of this movie for you? If you had to pick one thing.
Well,
I know there's a lot. But
it's something that I was thinking about, and I was just like, man, what am I going to put my finger on that was probably the worst part for me? I hate to say it, but it's Cole Young. Like, I wasn't into the character. I wasn't into anything about it at all.
You're not alone, man.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Cole Young is the worst part of the movie for me.
Again, why are we rewriting what's already there?
Yeah.
It's like people have no connection to this character at all.
And that's the thing, if you're going to do fan service, let's do fan service.
And if you're trying to make this guy likable, you gave him pretty much no story.
Yeah.
You just said he's a descendant. Okay. How did he get to where he is right now? You know?
Supposedly there's a fighting background, but where? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, we saw him fight one time and get his ass beat. We saw him get his ass beat numerous times throughout the movie. We saw even his first fight with his when he gained his powers, but he should have been fucking thrashed by Goro.
And I don't remember how it is in the game, like how many years between each tournament. But I mean, if it was thousands of years, right? Mm-hmm. We were assuming, right? Because that's what Sub-Zero said.
There's a bloodline there,
right? That mark had to have passed generation to generation to generation, right?
Yeah.
Was there another tournament in there? Like, how did he still end up with it?
Yeah, and if he has a mark, is it when he dies, then his daughter gets the mark? How does that happen?
Right. There's a lot of.
There's more questions than answers, and I'm not saying this has to be a movie that gives us all the fucking answers. It doesn't, but it has to be a movie that we give a shit about the lead character, and that's the biggest issue with this movie is that I can give a shit about that dude.
Right. Well, for me, the worst thing, and I knew we probably wouldn't get the greatest acting, but like I mentioned, they probably went after people that have some kind of fighting background or some kind of talent. But I was watching it and I was instantly drawn out of it. I was like, these people suck. Except for Kano, it's like these people, they're no emotion, no nothing comes out of them.
Okay, the internet's probably gonna fucking hate me for this, but I'm gonna say it. Okay, it reminded me of, well, some of these are good and I do enjoy watching them because I'm just a fucking nerd, but the Batman fan-made movies or there's a lot of these fan-made movies. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but there's a bunch of them involving Batman, and it has, a guy playing Batman, a guy playing Joker, stuff like that. But the acting is fucking horrendous in some of them. And that's what this reminded me of. I couldn't believe, that this was a motion picture made by a major studio. Now, part of me likes that they used a lot of new people. I said it throughout the podcast, is that I kind of can see, I like that they're building stuff. Because, again, if you get a known character, a lot of times for me, that character becomes somebody that he was in a past movie,
Right.
Fucking Tom Cruise in every movie that he makes is Maverick to me. Stuff like that, But at the same time, it's like, give us someone that's got some shit, Yeah,
and I've heard arguments, from the super fans saying, you should know this is not going to be an award-winning movie and this and that. Of course, we're not going to get good actors, but
it doesn't have to suck.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, it's like I felt nothing for these characters. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say it like that, but I could give a fuck about Cole Young.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. What's next? Let's see.
If I can change,
Я думаю, что каждый тоже изменился
and
сегодня.
you can change.
Вы можете измениться.
Everybody can change. What? If you could change something, we've probably gone over 100 things, but if there's one thing you could change, what would it be for you?
Again, I would start with the Iron Man. Again, don't give us the Avengers right off the bat. Give us Iron Man, Give me the Sub-Zero story. Give me the Scorpion story. I want to see this dude go through hell.
I'm with you, man. I was trying to hold it back, but now that I know that there's a 4-movie deal, take your time with it. I think it would have been so much better if we would get, like you said, just make this movie about Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That's it. Give us their story leading up to present time, Yeah. Then maybe give us Kano, Jax, and Sonya movie, Give us
because
some of
now,
that.
like, tell me, do you want them to go back and do that? I
It's
kind of
too
don't.
late.
Yeah,
It's too late.
Yeah,
You already blew it.
yeah, I agree.
People are not expecting that now.
Yeah, I'm now. I guess we're gonna see what's next in the story, and I don't see it being strong enough or deep enough to go into. They shot their shot here. Now we are going to get something, but, I don't want them to go back now. No, it's too late.
I just felt it was too rushed. They brought in too many characters, some we don't even know anything about, and now they're dead, and it's like, yeah, I think there should have been Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and then maybe something about all the people from Earth Realm, and then all the people from the Outer Realm, and then you get the tournament.
Yeah. Again, there was a lot of different things that they could have done better, but that's what I wanted. I want to see that Scorpion storyline, and now you can't do it.
Yeah, like I said, they teased us all with the best scene at the very beginning. And
that's smart. It's fucking smart by them.
Yeah, and then they released it, right? They released it before they released the movie.
They released the first 7 minutes of the movie early to get your mouth wet for that, and you're like, "Fuck yes, this is what the movie's gonna be." And then you saw the movie, and it was shit.
So, at least that's what I think. But there are a lot of people, Mortal Kombat fans, that love it. They love the fatalities. They love all the references to the game, which is great. I liked all that too. It's just the movie as a whole, I think it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and we're not the only ones that feel that way.
Do we need to go in sequel or prequel or spinoff?
Well, I guess that's what we're going to, right? Like we have,
it's coming anyways.
Yeah, it's coming anyways. So we're gonna see that Johnny Cage story, and maybe they pull it back a little bit and they give us a Johnny Cage story, and then at the end of the story he meets up with these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe the focus will get off of Cole and be Johnny Cage. I don't know.
Yeah, because again, we've seen it a lot that they do hear a lot of what the fans are saying, and again, the feedback that I get from a lot of fans or people that they didn't like the Cole character. So, shit, I don't know if we see him too much in the second movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. What about your taco rating, man, for this movie?
These are. This is when you go to one of those Mexican restaurants that you've heard about. Or no.
Everybody's hyping it up.
Yeah, no. This is when you go and you go to work on a Saturday. So some random dude brings in tacos, right? And they fucking bring you white tacos. It's one taco and it's a white taco.
Like Taco Bell meat in there.
Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, it's fake tortilla.
like it's just a flour tortilla that's not even warmed up. So they just put it in there.
There's no sauce in this bitch.
I need some street tacos.
I'm telling you, brother.
But what's your rating then?
No, I give it a 1 nasty taco.
1 nasty taco.
You know what? I'm gonna say, yeah. It's again, it's not something that I'm gonna go back and try again. So you got that restaurant where you go eat at, and you take one for the team, and you're like, never again, never fucking again am I getting this shit. I don't care how drunk I am.
I think I'll give it 1.5. I mean, I liked it for what it was, and sometimes that's just the way it is. Yeah, but just like the Batman and Robin. It's a terrible movie, but I liked it for what it was, and I think that's what the fans see. But I just think it was a missed opportunity
because that one taco, so hyped up for it. The one taco we got in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
before there were even credits, we ate all our taco, and then the rest of the movie we didn't have no more tacos.
I'm done.
There's no filling.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, movie. Missed opportunity, I think, but there's 3 more movies to come, so maybe I don't know. Maybe it'll make a turnaround.
Yeah.
Hopefully they listen to what everybody's saying now.
Yeah, and again, I don't want them to go too much into the backstory. I want them to go forward with it. But the main protagonist, and not the main antagonist, but like the main villain in the movie that's supposed to be, I didn't like the main character. I didn't like the main villain. I didn't like Shang Tsung. I didn't like Lucas Cole.
There's just so many characters.
Or Cole Young.
Yeah. I think there's so many characters already. Why do we need another one?
Yeah. There's such a rich history there to go into, and it's like, what the fuck are y'all thinking?
And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to force all of these characters in somehow, some way. So, we're gonna see a Shao Kahn. We're gonna probably see the horse guy, whatever his name is,
Minotauro.
Yeah, whatever. So,
yeah, again,
it'll probably be fan service. The hardcore fans will like it, and it's just gonna be an okay movie.
And this, again, it's not necessarily sequels to this movie, but this may start again because again, it has been successful. Maybe it goes back into, we're gonna see a Street Fighter movie again.
I wouldn't doubt it,
and I hope they do it right, because I didn't even watch The Legend of Chun-Li, but I didn't hear nothing good about that. Street Fighter has a story to it. It can be done in a story, but we want to see the classic fights. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, again, it only serves good for us nerds, right? Because we're gonna have more shit to talk about. We're gonna have more stuff for the people out there to watch. So,
I'm just hoping, with all these reboots we do now, I really want a new Super Mario movie.
I want to see that motherfucker fly with a raccoon tail.
The raccoon suit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to see him, go from castle to castle looking for Peach, and then to have to get to that last castle that's fucking badass. You know what I mean?
And I hate to say it, if they even do one, I mean, it's gonna be cheesy.
Mm-hmm. It has to be though. It has to be, but it could be a good cheesy.
Yeah,
it could be a good cheesy like that government cheese.
Definitely better than this Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But again, I'm a big video game nerd, so I'm hoping that some of these other movies, video games, get made into movies.
Red Dead.
Yeah, I'm thinking Red Dead is at the top of my list. What's on your list? Like, what video games do you want to see as a movie?
Man, I don't know. I don't know any of these newer games, but shoot. Like, would you want to see a Fortnite game? I mean, Fortnite movie?
Fuck no. But it's probably coming. You know what I mean? It's probably coming, but
it could probably be fun, I think.
Yeah. It would have been good. Like, I know we tried to get Charles out here. Charles got his second shot, so he wasn't feeling too up to it. But he's a Fortnite gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would have been able to give us that perspective. I'm not into it. It bothers me. How do you build, like, these kids have to build shit, and I don't know, it's so fucking stupid. But again, that movie's probably coming.
Yeah, kids love it.
Yeah. Again, it's gone so far now that it was cool to my kids at a certain point, and then it's gone like, we don't play Fortnite no more. What are you talking about? Man, motherfucker, I spent so many V-Bucks on that shit. You better be still playing.
Again, like, one of my favorite games still Assassin's Creed. I wish they would have done that movie right, but
for me, again, and I guess maybe it's hard to do, but did you ever play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Yeah.
That's a fucking movie for me. I mean, that whole story is a movie for me. Personally, like it goes through a lot of stuff, and you can do that into a movie. You can do that into a movie that spreads into a bunch of different parts. You can do that.
I'm trying to think of what other one was similar that I liked. I think it was Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Where he's like a hacker. I think that could be pretty cool too.
Yeah. No, I remember that movie. I want to say it's made by the same people. Like I want to say Rockstar made it. I might be wrong. People could probably kill me over it, but I want to say it was made by the same people. And what about like God of War? Oh, I've heard that's on the table.
Really?
Already. Yeah.
Just thinking about it now, I think that could be super cool.
Yeah. I want to say there's another movie, another.
Oh, you know
game,
what?
Gears of War.
Gears of War.
And
I never played that one because
Yeah.
it's one of those first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I suck at those.
Dude, I'm right there with you. But even like the Call of Duty movies, they're done. The Call of Duty games, the Modern Warfare, the actual campaign mode or whatever it's called, that's done very much like a movie. Like, you can do that. You know what I mean?
You know what game I liked? I haven't played the second one yet, but I heard I don't remember if they said it's going to be animated. I think live action on HBO is The Last of Us.
Yes. I never played that game too much. I saw my kid playing it before.
Yeah, I played the first one. It's great.
It's one of those role-playing, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty badass. And that's coming out as a show. And it has, it's like, I don't know, is it father-daughter? Or like it's a guy with
it's a guy with a little
he's got to
girl.
protect, right?
Yeah.
It's classic trope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not his daughter, but he sees her as his daughter.
And much. We've seen a series like that recently be successful in Mandalorian.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So they can make it kind of that way, make it a little bit spaghetti western type thing. You got yourself some shit there. It's good actor. I don't know the actress that's playing it, but I know the actor. What's his name?
Who? Nathan.
The actor that's gonna do the movie.
I'm not sure.
No, it's a pretty big name.
One that I can't believe I didn't think about it earlier, but a movie that is happening with Spider-Man.
Which is that?
Uncharted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with Tom Holland.
Yes.
Yes.
I think he's a little young for that character, but I'm still excited for the movie.
Well, I think they're doing it because, I mean, I think dude's already in his late or mid 20s already, so he just looks young. But it's something that you can build on and you can franchise it, because that's all they're looking for now. They can do
a whole run of movies of those.
Yeah, that's all they're doing now.
That's another great game.
What are some movies you would have liked to see as a game? Because that was the other part of it, right? Like, we all had these great movies that they made a video game version of that was not up to the movie's, I guess, task or whatever.
A movie into a game. Did they do a Fast and Furious game? I think they might have.
Maybe. You know what? I go back to back in the day when they did. Remember they had a Batman game. The Batman games were shit.
I got the figure up there. The Batman, the game version.
Oh yes. Okay, see, like the Batman games were bad, man. But you played them, right?
Hard.
Yeah, you played them because you wanted to be fucking Batman, and that's what's so good about the Arkham games. It's like those.
You brought it up earlier. Like we had a Friday the 13th movie.
That game was fucking hard.
That game was hard too. I didn't understand it at all.
You're fucking throwing rocks at Jason.
Oh, the ultimate one. All right. From Atari, if you remember. The E.T. game. This game is infamous for being just wacky.
And you fell into like a fucking, God, we're showing our age, but you fell into a pit and you couldn't get out of that bitch.
Yeah, you had to like raise your neck and float up into the air. I mean, this game was ridiculous.
And it fucking killed Atari.
Yeah. I mean, there's a video of it out there, or a documentary or something about this game where Atari was so ashamed of this game that like they buried thousands of copies of this game somewhere.
Yeah, in a landfill or something.
Yeah,
and now it's like copies of that game go for thousands of dollars.
That game was so ridiculous.
But yeah, so that was always the thing too. It's like a hit movie would come out and you'd see the video game version of it come out afterwards, and I besides maybe like Spider-Man, but the Spider-Man, the story's already there, that came out for PlayStation. I don't remember any being too good.
But I can vaguely remember a Nightmare on Elm Street game.
Yes. And there is one.
I mean, there's some out there. I'm sure people can let us know. We'll probably have to post something out there and see who can remembers any movies that were made into games. But
that were actually fucking decent. But you know what? That's the bad ones that get us, right? Like, the bad ones we're all there for. I want to say there was an Indiana Jones game. It sucked as hell. But there was one of those things. And
I want to say Atari. When we had Nintendo in the 80s, I want to say there was probably a bunch of them. I think I can remember a Goonies game.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably a lot out there.
Oh, you know which one was badass that I like to play? Top Gun.
I could never land.
You were basic, yeah.
I could never land.
I mean, it was one of those things is that you played the first stage and then you never got out of it.
Yes. Yeah. That's another movie, Tom Cruise. We got to do a Tom Cruise episode.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, I mean, fuck, Lucky being in this room, we got to do Batman.
He's looking at all my Batman stuff, which is, I tried to like minimize my collection to mostly Batman. But I used to have a lot of Walking Dead stuff. A lot.
Yeah, I've gotten off the Walking Dead a little bit more.
Dude, I haven't seen any of this new season.
Yeah, I haven't. I was telling.
I know they did a review on the Negan episode, but
I haven't even watched anything. Yeah,
which I want to watch it because I really like that storyline, but about how Negan became Negan. But
yeah,
I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, we got to get into Batman though. All things Batman. I mean, our Batman episode. We're probably gonna have to span some episodes. So yeah,
definitely. We'll do each movie.
Fuck yes, dude.
That's a lot of movies, though.
I don't give a shit. I'm here fucking for it. Like Batman was my guy, man. Batman still is my guy. He's the one that kind of. I mean, originally I was Superman, but I want to say I was maybe 9 years old, and I read Dark Knight Returns, and I was like, oh my fucking god.
Yes, sir.
And then I as a teenager, I got into, or not even teenager, but like in my early 20s or something, I started getting into like the Grant Morrison Batman stories, and man, that motherfucker, he can wax poetic about Batman.
Well, shit. That's our Mortal Kombat episode, I guess.
Yeah, our Mortal Kombat video game episode, video game movie episode. I know there's a lot more stuff that we could get into going into video games and stuff like that. So it'll be out there. I think there's more stuff for us to do. I'm happy for it, man. Like I'm glad to be doing the show with you, Luck. Like
Yes, sir.
It's been a lot of fun. I've gotten feedback, that we are funny together, I guess. But I
hope so.
Well,
we're still early in on it.
No, but I especially like I thought our last episode, we got pretty deep in it, and
oh yeah, we got serious. I was getting a little watery.
Yeah,
I was getting a little watery. But.
And I got good feedback on that too, man. Because that's what I want to be.
That's the real deal stuff right there.
As you can tell, I like fucking talking. So,
speaking of talking and being on shows, we got something coming up pretty quick, right?
Yeah. We're gonna get into as I introduce you to my friend Jerry D, and Jerry D does the Totally Rad Christmas podcast, and Jerry D invited us on. I don't know if we want to reveal what we're going to be talking about just yet. You're going to have to tune in and watch that.
Maybe just talk about what his show's about. It's cool. I mean, everybody loves Christmas, and why not talk about it all year long?
Yeah, and there's this whole Christmas podcast community out there,
which I wasn't aware until I found out.
Yeah, and again, I wasn't. I don't want to say like I wasn't one of these people that did Christmas. Well, not talked about Christmas year round. I used to be into where around what we call the Burr months, October, November, December. Then I like October. I'm all about horror movies. I'm all about Halloween. I'm all about everything coming into that night. So I even get into that into September, October, and I start listening to a lot of horror stuff. I start, getting into that and horror movie podcasts and stuff like that. But as I get into November, I'm everything Christmas. I have a watch list that I like to go through with my family. We watch a lot of old movies or shows, and I have like a lot of old sitcoms, and so I started getting into it, and I started like, there's got to be podcasts out there for it, right? There's podcasts for everything now.
Everything.
So I started listening to different, and there's a lot out there. Some of them are good, some of them aren't that great, but two of my favorites that I got into was Tis the Podcast, and through Tis the Podcast I got into Totally Rad Christmas. Now Jerry, Tis the Podcast, the guys are, I think two of them are from Oklahoma, one's from New York, and they're good people, and they have a good show, and what they do is they review and rank movies about Christmas, and they've done all the classics, and every day or every week they do new shows or stuff like that. Jerry D goes into his show is 80s Christmas podcast.
Nice.
So
like it.
Everything Christmas from the 80s, which, that's our fucking jam,
brings
bro.
back the feels.
I'm telling you. And, I remember, well, we'll get into it later on, but, I remember having some good Christmases, some bad, but, some of the best Christmases were in the early 80s, when I was a kid, and, some of the good that came out of that. And so one of the things I like to do now is, as I said, I got my Christmas list going, and me and my daughter will sit there. We'll watch fucking commercials from the 80s, bro, on Christmas commercials. But, you know, it brings me into Jerry's show is that, you know, his show is, you know, I'm probably not going to sit there with my daughter and listen to our show because, you know, we let some words fly every once in a while. Jerry's show's a little bit more clean cut and stuff, and Jerry does a damn good job of keeping everything going. His show I'll listen to with my daughter. It's one way to put it. And you know, Jerry, he has this deep list of stuff he likes to get into. So, you know, 80s totally rad Christmas is an 80s Christmas podcast, and you know, you're a child of the 80s like we were. You know, you'll like it.
Yeah, definitely look out for that. It's a lot of fun. Goes over Christmas specials and all kinds of stuff. It's a fun show. It's a fun show.
So you know, and it's gonna be something to watch.
And hopefully we'll have a Jerry on one of our episodes.
Yes.
After that, so I
told him too. Is like I was originally talking to him about it. Like, dude, we're definitely gonna get you on in December. We start doing, you know, getting ready, ramping up for Christmas. But dude, Jerry's got a wealth of knowledge on music, on comics, and stuff like that. So we can pick his brain about anything, man.
There you go.
And what's fun about him, he's game to come on, man. Like he's game to have fun with it and stuff like that. And you know, Jerry, we joke about it with him, but this motherfucker, he's been on everyone's podcast, man. We told him he's collecting like the Infinity Gauntlet of he's getting a sticker from every podcast he's on. So man, we might have to send him a 3-legged ragged sticker or a Dork Dad sticker, or you know,
we'll make some of our own.
Now watch this stickers.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so look out for that, and look out for more guests on our show. Hopefully pretty soon. Big supporters of our shows, the guys over at Just Another Friday Night. You got Chuck and Adam over there. So definitely give them a listen as well. Those guys are always fun.
And, you know, thank them. They pumped us up last time and one of their shows, and they came out and talked about our show. And, you know, San Antonio podcast family, man. Like, you know, we're all in it together, you know. Our show doesn't last all week. You know, everyone's got stuff they want to listen to. So, you know, give them a listen, you know, give us a listen, you know, give them a follow, give us a follow, you know, give us some feedback, talk to us, and tell us what you are watching.
Yes, sir. And unlike my show, the Dork Dad Podcast, we're going to try to make this one a little more frequent, weekly if we can. But
I'm dude.
So look forward to that.
We're here for it, man. We're here for it. We're here for y'all. And watch out for our show, our shirts out there too. You know, our Now Watch This shirts.
Now Watch This with Lucky and Joe. Find it at 3leggedrabbit.com. That's the number 3leggedrabbit.com. Just look under podcast gear where you can find our shirt and a whole bunch of other cool stuff.
And look for us on Facebook, on Instagram. Now Watch This pod with Lucky and Joe. You know, give us some feedback, you know, give us a shout out, you know, come on and, you know.
Yeah, we'll be posting more stuff, getting people's feedback, what they want us to review, watch. Maybe there's something out there that neither of us have watched and y'all want us to see. So, you know, we're up for that too. No matter how crazy, outlandish, whatever, crazy, how bad, we're up for it all.
I'm telling you, we're watching.
Yes, sir. And with that, I just want to say, I think we made our new outro the last time. Keep watching and keep listening.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Laters.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Hey, life's a risk, carnal.
Tell me something, my friend. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I do a great impression of a hot dog.
Billy likes to drink soda.
So am I to understand that you men completed your training on your own?
That's the fact, Jack!
Come on, seriously, who is that?
I only came here to do 2 things, man. Kick some ass and drink some beer. Looks like we're almost out of beer.